What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a special episode here on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. I told you niggas that I wasn't going to do another motherfucking show, but then I forgot that I had this show scheduled like 4 days ago. Forgot to do the motherfucking show. So I want to go ahead on and just knock it out right now with the group panel. I got some very talented brothers, and as usual, that come on and help me out and want to talk about the issues of the day. And so today we're going to be talking about who are the real alpha males of the black community, because we've had such an issue with this motherfucking terminology as it is. So let me kind of, pretty much get the brothers involved in this one on the panel to see how they feel about the certain situation. But let me kind of first start off by introducing the brothers as here. I have brother Super Sly 75 so far. And then we have Max City Limits podcast, Max City Limits radio show. You guys know him. He's been here many times. So let's go ahead and open the floor, man. What's going on with your Super Sly?
I'm good, bro. I'm just happy to be here.
All right. And Max City Limits, what's going on with your player?
Man, you know what I do, man. Hey, I told you I'm gonna try and dial it back a little bit on this show. We're gonna try not to do the Patreon thing so quick. You know what I'm saying? Try make it PG, just little, not R-rated, but PG.
All right. So let's kind of get in. I'll start with you first, Max City. You know, I don't know. I made a video the other day on my main page on O'Shea Duke Jackson, the main channel. And one of the things that I have heard with respect to certain dating coaches are if you type in like alpha male on YouTube search, you always hear some dating coaches talking about characteristics of alpha males, and it's always in response to how to approach women, talking to women, things of like this. But I want to, kind of give me your interpretation of what you think that this alpha male thing is, and what these guys are trying to mean when they are saying these certain strategies or tactics.
Is that for anybody or?
Yeah. Go. You can go super slide. Go ahead first, because yeah, go ahead.
Um, you know what? I think the term has been a bit diluted over the last couple of decades.
Okay.
Because to me, what an alpha male would have been back in the 60s and 70s may not constitute as an alpha male today. Because if we want to be honest, the perceived alpha male is the drug dealer, the thug, the goon, because they give off a false sense of being able to protect and provide to a certain extent. I don't see your builders like electricians, HVAC guys, those guys being considered alpha males, even though what they do, building the community, is part of what you would deem as alpha, building the community. But nowadays, I don't think so much. But I could be wrong.
Okay. Let's go to Max City, man. Go ahead and give it. He actually, Max City, did he leave?
He left and then he came back and he left again.
This nigga doing some Jesus type shit. Okay. So let's kind of go back to you then. All right. What are these guys talking about? Like, let me just do this real quick. When I type in alpha male in YouTube search engine, I see from alux.com 15 signs you're an alpha male. I see 10 alpha male body language tricks every guy should do today. I see chopping up, how to be the ultimate alpha male. I see dating commandments. All of these things are kind of closely related to as it is to relating to women. So is there any correlation between this alpha male terminology and as it correlates to dating women or attracting women in your opinion?
But that's just one aspect of an alpha. Like, yeah, okay, you get the women, or you have access to the best choice in women, but then there's other things like providing, protecting, building, maintaining infrastructures, communities, things of that nature. Be an example for the younger males. So I think we focus too much on the women aspect. And just because you get a lot of pussy doesn't necessarily make you an alpha male. I know a lot because if you pay for pussy, well, there it is there. So does that make him an alpha? Like
Let's go ahead.
the
I'm sorry.
context. Well, I just think the context has been kind of thrown around and just thrown out there, and we focus just too much on the getting the woman part. It's more than just getting women. There's a whole other plethora of issues that alpha male men have to deal with or should deal with.
Okay. Let's talk about those other issues, if you will. Kind of go into those if you can.
Well, yeah, we don't have. They're supposed to like mentor the youth. They're supposed to be like the community elders that you would go to for issues within the community. Uh, it, it's almost like a rite of passage that we don't have in our communities, unfortunately. And that's supposed to come down from the man to the younger men and say, you know, this is what you got to do. This is your trial by fire that you had to do to be considered to get to this point in life. For whatever reason, with black folk, we focus on who can get the most amount of pussy, and that's not alpha. That's not what an alpha male. That's not the whole aspect of an alpha. I don't know why we define that on how much ass one man can get, and there's a whole bunch of different issues that we got going on. You know, we got drugs in the community, we got crime in the community, we got issues with police in the communities. So where are these alphas to take care of these situations and these issues to deal with?
Let's talk about the drugs and in the crime, because those guys are promoted. Shout out to Brandon L. In black community and stuff like that. So can you talk about, like, why do you think, especially people, we acquiesce to the guys like this?
Because they give off a false sense of the tough guy. If a woman deals with this man, she feels like he's going to be able to protect her and provide for her, even though he's destroying the community at the same time. So like how we still hold those 70s drug dealers in high regard, your Nicky Barnes, your Sergeant Willie P's, all those old drug dealers that still for some odd reason have some sway and influence with us. Even the rich and alpha guys, your paid in full guys, people
Mhm.
still hold these guys in high regard, but they destroyed our communities. Your freeway Rick Rosses destroyed our communities at the behest of the government. But
Mhm.
this is what we gravitate to as a sign of manhood and manliness, which is the furthest thing from the truth. Because real men they don't destroy the communities; they build the communities.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got Ghana. Damn, man. I know the notifications not working, guys. Don't worry about that. Come on in and like the video. We got 53 people watching right now. We gonna still get it popping in here. So go ahead and like the video for those of you who are in there. Ghana, damn, man. Welcome to the show. Um, let's talk about a little bit about how you grew up, because you have a little bit of a different experience with seeing, like, a father do some things in comparison to many brothers that grew up in black community. So let's kind of start there, and then you kind of give me your interpretation of what you feel alpha male is.
Okay, hey, good evening, everyone. How you doing, Super Sly? So,
I'm good, bro. How you?
all right, I'm great. I'm great. So, yeah, I was blessed. I grew up in Alabama, and my dad, he had a decent job at a rubber plant, and they moved on a vision. They was going to night school, both he and my mom, and they learned about the service industry. And this is, 80, 81, somewhere around there. 'Cause my brother was one, maybe. So they learned about the service industry was going to be the up and coming industry to get into, and they jumped into the cleaning business. I may have been 7, 8. We started with a little veterinary and a lawyer office, dental office. Next thing you know, we had like over like 5 years, we had like 100 clients, like 50 employees, and we was making over $500,000 a year in the 80s. From scrubbing toilets. People laughed at him when he left his good job. But I saw my dad. We had a logging business. We used to make cabinets. We built our house from the ground up. So again, my dad didn't grow. My dad acquired these things by reading an old Lifetime books and asking old white men or black men how to do certain things, and he will go replicate it, or he'll go do it himself. So, and I saw my mom be very supportive, and my aunts and uncles be very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of insulated, but I started seeing things, as I started learning about rap music or getting into rap music. I started seeing a shift in where I grew up. The drugs and stuff started coming in, and me trying to go score some cheap, some easy poontang from those inner city girls.
Mm-hmm.
I started hanging out with some of my classmates and figure out what was going on. It was a culture shift, and we all knew the neighborhood drug dealer, but I didn't. Nobody touched me because they knew my dad. In fact, they wouldn't even let me fuck with him like that because of my dad. Because I remember them saying that, hey, you got a good family, you had no business being down here, and they were right. So I witnessed a man be innovative who had a good job, choose to do better. When he didn't know something, he went and learned from others, and then went through the trial and error. I mean, I don't remember my dad sleeping ever, and and my dad is very successful. Me and my brother both very successful as a result of we watching our father. But I'm the oldest, so I caught everything from the beginning. But so I was, so my experience in the inner city and the hood and stuff like that is kind of limited. I got more exposed to those when I was in the military, and when I was traveling more. But that's my father would be definitely an alpha male because he chose to take what he knew to the next level, improved upon it. Then he passed on the intellect to me and my brother. I mean, they didn't have any management skills like that, bro. I mean, I remember our first computer. I remember our first accountant. All my mentors were doctors and lawyers, or CEO, or future CEOs. This is in the '80s, so I understand the sensitivity of the subject, but this is the lifestyle I grew up in. They started with a cleaning service,
Mm-hmm.
a fucking cleaning service.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to do that. But they turned it into a shitload of money. So so that's a little snippet of my childhood. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, let me ask you this also because I mean I know superstars live in different parts of the United States, but I know that you've lived in Winter Laowai, bro. Come on into the chat, man. I would love to have you on here. That's my buddy, man, in China right now. That's my brother, man. Randy, if you want a link, brother, come on in here. We gotta do a show tomorrow, man. That's my buddy. That's my boy right there. Pwan. Now let me ask you this, because I've been to Africa. I've never lived there. Now, I lived in Poland, but I've never lived in Africa. You've lived in Ghana. How do the people of Ghana look at who is alpha and who is not alpha with respect to the society? Shout out to Brother J.L. Edwards. I'll read that. Let's talk about how African Americans view alpha males and how maybe, like, let's say, people in Ghana are Africans that you have met because you've lived over there. You're doing some really great work over there, but I'm really proud of the work you're doing over there with building the homes and stuff like that. But how do the people of Ghana look at alpha males in comparison to how African Americans look at them?
Well, they don't call them alpha, but they call them boss or master. And so, as any African American man who goes damn near anywhere in Africa, he's going to be perceived, until he shows that he's incompetent, he's going to be perceived as alpha. They expect men who are alpha or boss or master to be of a different level of intellect. They're going to be problem solvers versus problem starters. They're going to provide opportunities. The women are going to flock to you. They're going to throw themselves at you because women are opportunistic. So we have to be honest with that. And nobody's going to question it. Nobody's going to bother you. My landlord, my ex-landlord taught me the game. He had 4 wives. All of them had multiple businesses, and they was funneling the money to him, and he was building his version of Home Depot. He's well over a multimillionaire in Ghana, and he had side women. So those are the men I ran around with in Ghana, so I could unlearn a lot of the fucked up ways of how you see women and how you handle women in the U.S. I started learning how to address Ghanaian women a little differently. So, so you're going to be a man who is a problem solver. You're going to be able to maintain your composure. Um, people going to respect you. They're not going to get in your way. They may try you, because Ghanaians are slicker than greased snakes. But they're gonna be on their hands and knees begging for forgiveness. It's nothing like watching a grown ass man fall to his knees and beg for forgiveness, because he knows you have his life in his hands. You can have him arrested, you can whip his ass, or you can spread his name around town and nobody ain't gonna mess with him. So there's a lot of power. You got to be prepared for it. If you go to these African countries, people are gonna view you automatically as an alpha, even though you may be mopping floors and have no plan and no vision other than to go get a little cut from some third world girl. But they're gonna treat you like you alpha until they see that you are just an incompetent fool thinking with his lower self.
Okay. So guys, let me just do this real quick. Let's go to JL Edwards, Alpha's lead men. If you're building, innovating, and guiding men, you're alpha. Dude who just messes around but doesn't have tangible results is not alpha. We're gonna talk about that. Darky MGTOW my brother out of London, out of the UK. I promise I won't miss the next hangout. Definitely will have you in there. Let's kind of go to Mac City Limits. Mac City, welcome back, man. What's your thoughts about this whole situation?
Well, I got like 20 years in the game as far as, hardcore in the streets, man. And of course, I've been in the military, Desert Storm veteran, worked 10 years in a close max security prison. So I know all about the quote unquote so-called alpha and the so-called beta schisms and paradigms, man. And I don't really like to use alpha and beta. I like to use constructive behavior and destructive behavior. And you did a video, O'Shea, basically talking about how we're messing up due to the fact that we're allowing women to dictate what is a real man. You know what I mean? And that's what's basically going on here, man. When you allow a society, basically you have women being the shot callers of what is and what isn't a real man, that society is doomed to destroy itself, because a woman, her mindset caters to disorder and chaos. And, she's going to choose men that basically reflect that. You know what I mean? Because, of course, they don't think rationally. They think emotionally. They don't think in a stable manner. They don't basically think they don't think about order. That's the least of their concerns. And then basically, I was also listening to your buddy Obsidian, and he doesn't necessarily get it, man. He's going all out, balls to the wall against females, right? And what he don't seem to get about females is they are not built to lead. They are built to follow. And a woman doesn't give a shit about morals. All she cares about is getting her needs met. So she'll follow a man no matter who he is, you know what I mean, as long as he reflects power and strength. The moral implications of the argument are irrelevant. Talking about what is fair and what isn't fair. Women don't care about what's fair. As long as you exude the power and the strength, as long as you make her feel subordinate, as long as you make her feel like a woman, she'll follow you, irregardless of your moral slant. You know what I mean? But like I said, I like to talk about your constructive actions and your destructive actions. And when I was working in the prison, it's like everybody talking about this Pookie Ray nonsense, man. It's like I seen so much destructive behavior coming from these brothers. I was locked up, man. It didn't matter what I did to try and help these brothers, man. They were just always hell bent on destroying what I would build for them in the pen. You know what I mean? I was trying to do this thing called the spook that sat by the door. I was trying to infiltrate the prison industrial complex, because I had this thing when I was super pro black back in the early 90s. I'm going to go in and help the brothers. But it just didn't matter what I did, because the IQs was so low.
it's a concept of power without focus is useless. Power without adequate technique is useless. And you have cats who are ultra violent and they do exude power, but they don't have any focus. They don't have any technique. You know what I mean? So it's just a waste of energy, man. And I don't want nobody to take this as a shot at, class where, I'm talking about dudes that's in the projects, how they might be stupid or how they might be worthless, because that's not what I'm saying. Because I come from a family of shot callers and bosses. You know what I mean? Nobody in my family has graduated high school, but they all millionaires. You feel me? They own businesses, and how they got those businesses. I think we pretty much know how they got the money for them businesses, but they took that money, they flipped it, and they bosses, they shot callers. So just because you in the hood and you in the streets don't mean you stupid, but the predominant thought process of these cats is in the streets, they exhibit destructive behavior, not constructive. You know what I mean? And women gravitate towards the more so destructive element in our society, man. And I just find that interesting that you made that video, because that's one of the main problems in the black community now. When you allow women to dictate who is a man and who isn't a man, especially in this day and age, chaos and disorder is soon to follow. So, yeah, that's what I got to say on that.
Making some strong points. Let me do this real quick, guys. I know the notifications not working as good. We got 123 still watching, though. Do me a favor and get the likes up on the videos, brother. We appreciate you guys. Got a really good panel. Let me go to Super Slide. Okay, can a guy be alpha in your opinion, but use it in the pejorative manner? Like guys who are in prison gangs, guys who are gangbangers, guys who were murder. I mean, does this happen in negative aspects that actually, let's say, in conditions that tear down communities and not build them up? Do you think that these kind of guys exist?
Yeah, because most definitely, because I've done 3 years in prison, and I can tell you firsthand, there are alpha men in prison. Now, whether you deem them a positive or a negative in society, but within those walls, yeah, there are alpha men in prison without question. Without question.
Okay, how does it work? And I know, like I said, Max City's worked in the prison, but let's kind of talk about that. How do guys who are considered alpha males, how is one selected to be alpha in prison?
Well, it depends. Now, when I first got there, they had me on a level 4 yard. So level 4 is your lifers. So nobody messed with the lifers. Actually, the lifers are probably the most chill, most reserved guys in the prison, depending on what prison you go to. But they earn the most respect, even from the COs, because these guys are doing life. They don't want to be bothered. They just want to do their time and be left alone for the most part. And if they're the ones that mainly like the COs will go to if there's an issue. Now, as far as the gang side of things, you got your shot callers, you got your reputables. Those guys are alphas as well, because they lead the cars, whatever car that you're riding in, whether it's AB, BMF, Crip Blood, MA, anything of that nature. So when you walk into there's already an established pecking order. Now, how they get to their positions through murder, rape, status on the street when they first came in. It all depends, but there's definitely a pecking order when you walk up in those walls, for sure, and you realize it real quick who's the top dog, and so on.
May I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like me working in the pen, man. It was always interesting, man. How, like I said, I break it down in destructive and constructive energy. You know what I mean? And it's true what the brother just said, man. Whenever I wanted to get something done in the block, you know what I mean? Because I think I've also told you that I was kind of like in a shit sandwich, man, because I worked in a Southern Ohio correctional facility that was very racist. There's a lot of KKK activity in there. And also, of course, you had a lot of knucklehead inmates, that I had to deal with, man. But I chose to go ahead and work more so with the inmate, of course, because I felt more comfortable with the street element. You know what I mean? And I thought I could get more done that way. So I always go to the bosses and the shot callers. If I was having a problem with some dude in the block or whatever, I would go to him and be like, you need to rein this dude in, man, because if you don't, he gonna be problematic and he gonna be fucking with your money. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it was just interesting, man, how a lot of these cats, you know, they was all big, bad, and tough, you know, acting like they was, but they was the biggest crybabies that you would ever want to see, man. They'd be like, you know, crying and whining and bitching about everything in the pen. I'd be like, my nigga, this is prison. You know, if you don't want to be here, then stay the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, they was thinking it's supposed to be the Hilton or whatever, and they be like, but I'm a grown ass man. I'm like, I can't tell because you do the most whining and bitching I've ever seen in my life. Well, why can't I empty out my trash now? Because, nigga, I said you don't empty your trash unless it's mass movement. There's rules to this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And of course, you know, when you got the bosses and the shot callers, they understand that you have to have rules and regulations in the block to make it work efficiently and to keep it safe. But the young knuckleheads didn't understand that. You know what I mean? And of course, like on the streets, you know, you got cats who claim that they big and bad and bold, quick to pull a strap out on you and shoot you if you're black. But when the cops roll up, you know, they bitch made. You know what I mean? So when we talking about, you know, who's hard, who's the baddest, who's the toughest, there's levels to this shit, man. You know, that's why I'm never mystified, or I don't never really get wrapped up in this, you know, who's hard, who's tough, who do the ladies like, because, you know, late at night when I'm making my rounds in the block and I'm going by this, you know, walking past the cells and I see these niggas crying in their cell because they got a Dear John letter from their broad. You know what I'm saying? These niggas cry. These niggas feel pain. They get dumped. You know what I mean? They feel everything else that the so-called square and lames do. You know what I'm saying? So it's I mean, bruh, I got so many stories about how these dudes have been locked up behind a woman. It ain't even funny, man. Dude so-called going to battle, going to war for a woman, and he locked up doing 50 years and she out there fucking the next nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know a dude, man, he came out, his woman was pregnant. She was getting jumped on, beat on by some neighborhood, like a female, and a dude was whipping on his woman, man. He came out, put caps in both of the motherfuckers that was beating on his woman, right? He go away for like 4 years for that assault, right? It didn't take 1 year for her to trade his ass in for another nigga. And he in there like, what? You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, I got tons of stories about, you know, cats getting played like that, man. So for all the fellas out there, look, man, don't sip the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? I've been in there 10 years hardcore. You know, these dudes, man, they go through it just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So don't even trip it, man. Like I said, I seen these cats crying about it. I seen dudes killing themselves over a woman, about to kill you over a woman. And I'm like, how alpha is that? You know, I ain't never thought about killing nobody over no broad. But, well, no, I did think about killing one nigga over my wife. I did think about that, but I didn't do it.
You saw that sex tape of her?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that crossed my mind.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I would go kill that nigga. I'm like, nah. Yeah, that hurt me to my soul. But, you know, yeah, man. So, like I said, those sip the Kool-Aid, man. They feel the pain. They go through it just like everybody else.
Okay. All right. Let me and shout out to Clutch, Xanatos Clutch in the building. Let me go. So I want to ask some other questions, but let me do this. Let me go to Ghana Dan. Okay. What are shout out to my boy Blackie Speaks, man, in here. That's the favorite YouTube channel, over 200,000 subscribers. That's my brother, man. I love him so much, man. He need to let me borrow some views, nigga. Let me ask you this, Ghana Dan. Okay. What are some characteristics? All right. Let me ask you this. Are there certain characteristics that alpha males have that the so-called omega or beta males possess? What are some of the different things that you think?
Well, they're not going to play. They're not going to sell. They legacy driven. They're going to be more calculated in their moves. Legacy driven, as in they're going to understand that everything that they do, like if you ever watched any of the mob movies, anybody that's sound like Max City Lemons got some history with his family making major moves, they're gonna be thinking about the next generation or several generations forward. And and all of them always want to come clean. They want to get out the game, whatever game they in. So when I think of any alpha male, I'm they looking to dominate in everything that they do. They looking to be wise in all their movements. They're not looking to go to war unless it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
They very careful with their energy. They value the hell out of their time. And they're gonna always have a plan and be and looking to manifest that plan. And normally, I've never seen an alpha. The ones I know, they always move in packs. They at least 2 or 3 deep. They associated with other strong men, and they know how to play well together. Because Bill Gates and all these uber rich motherfuckers, they got rich together.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do it by themselves. So, because a man who's really in tune with himself knows his strengths and weaknesses, and he can pick up on what brother may have something that he don't have that he needs, and hopefully they can create a win-win scenario.
Okay. So shout out to you. You make some good points. Let me go to Super Sly real quick. I mean, before we go back to Mac City, shout out to my boy Marcus Brown. I just tuned in one to work as always. Okay, let me ask you this, Super Sly. The characteristics that a guy has as the alpha male inside of let's say the prison, and the guy that has that's an alpha male outside. Are there any differences or any similarities?
Well, the first glaring one is the one's in prison and the other one's not. But that's too easy to say.
Right.
They both are thinkers, calculated, because for them to get to their positions that where they're at, you had to exercise some modicum of reasoning, logic, knowing when to strike, and knowing when to fight or retaliate to a certain extent. Very, very calculated, very long term thinking. But the funny thing is, like Ghana said, a guy like Bill Gates. To me, Bill Gates is an alpha. Now, you ask that the average black person, they would say, oh, no, he's a geek. He wears glasses. He does computers. That's not an alpha. See, so in our communities, for some odd reason, there's a perception of what we deem alpha is. And perfect example is like Omar from The Wire. Everyone loves The Wire. Everyone, Omar this, Omar that.
This dope website with Wix. Let me show you
And
how I did it.
but
First up, go
a
to
guy like
Wix.com.
Omar, to me, if you ask me, he wouldn't be considered an alpha because this guy terrorized the community. He sold drugs and murdered people and whatever, and on top of that, the whole alternative lifestyle. So that means that's neither here nor there. I think they mirror each other as far as moves calculated and to the positioning, strategics, how they got to their position. Now, if as far as the differences, I don't think it's that many. It's probably negligible, to be honest with you, outside from the prison aspect of it. That's just my opinion.
Okay, let's talk. I'm actually this other question because in African American culture, charisma is like everything. When we see a brother, we think alpha means like the guy who can come into the room and kind of woo people, the guy who has a very big very big personality. Like I think alpha in our culture is more based off of charisma. It's more based off of how much people like you, how personable you are. Do you think that those are alpha trait qualities based off of personal interaction and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have something about you that people gravitate towards, and even like with a bunch of men, you take 10 men, eventually there will be a pecking order established, and all men will concede that he's the one we're going to follow, even though they may not outrightly say it. But there would be a concession that say, okay, he's the guy that we trust his his insight a little bit more than everybody else's. Like he would be the one. So yeah, you got to have something about you that would make people gravitate towards you and want to take you serious and want to follow your lead to a certain extent.
Okay. Let me go to Maxi Limits. You want to add in on any of that, Maxi?
Yeah, man. Shit. Me coming up, I've always been a non-joiner. You know what I mean? I've never felt the need to join no crews, no cliques, no gangs, and whatever, man. Like in my formative years, I was raised in the suburbs around white folks, man, and shit. So I think around like the 5th or 6th grade, my mom's, we moved into the inner city, and I had like a brutal wake up call, man. That's where I learned about gang activity. You know what I'm saying? So me coming from the suburbs, being on some square shit, you know what I mean? I was playing soccer, tennis, typically what they would call white boy shit. And I figured out, pretty quick that, that wasn't the cool thing to do back then. You know what I'm saying? So actually around 7th grade, I actually got approached to sell dope. And I actually got approached to be, we had some rinky dink ass gangs, it was neighborhood based. And like I said, me coming from the square shit, I was just like, gangs? No, I don't want to do that. No, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, man. So that actually made me a marked man around the hood, man. Like I'd already said I ain't gonna sell dope. I'd already said I'm not gonna join your gang and shit, man. And so damn, I forget what the brother just said, man. I think the brother from Ghana, man. He was talking about how alphas group up. And, it's kind of like being my opposite experience, man. If you a smart dude and you alpha, you can network and you should network. And that's a real high-powered, dangerous composition right there. When you got a whole bunch of alphas grouped up, they can get shit done. But it's been my experience that the most bitch-made niggas group up. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have the strength to stand on their own and just say, I'm going to stand on my square. I'm going to stand on my convictions. And I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. You know what I mean? So I was always getting like jumped on and accosted by a whole bunch of bitch ass niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like me versus 5 niggas. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but these niggas are supposed to be tough?
Right.
I'm like, man, and all y'all got to jump on me? You know what I'm saying? But then pretty soon in the hood, I got a rep, man. You know what I mean? About 9th, 10th grade, I was a beast, man, because I was going through gladiator training like a motherfucker, man. It was like, shit, if I fought one nigga, it was a cakewalk. You know what I mean? Because I've been so used to getting ganged on by niggas, man. Now, when I was messing with the white boys, of course, early on in my life, we had some fights out there. Of course, we was younger, but I never had to worry about 2 or 3 motherfuckers jumping in. At least the white boys let you, do your one-on-one, and you handled your business. But when I moved over to the inner city, it was just crazy. It was such a dishonorable, distasteful vibe about these niggas, man. I was just like, ain't no honor amongst none of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? None at all, man. And then same thing when I went to the prison, man. It was just like, that gang jumping in on niggas, man. I just like the bitch assness a lot of these niggas, man. I was just like, come on, bruh. You know what I mean? Like even me, like I did a lot of stuff that you ain't supposed to do as a CO. Like if I had a problem with an inmate, cause me halfway being in and out the streets, I would take off my walkie-talkie, I'd take off my badge, and we would go to the stairwell. And we had a rule. We would bang, but you can't hit to the face. You know what I'm saying? Because, you can't be walking around with, swollen eyes and busted lips because people going to question what happened. You know what I mean? But we'll go to that stairwell and we'll do body shots. We'll try to kill each other that way. You know what I'm saying? And shit, man, 5 or 6 times, me and a couple dudes had some rounds in that stairwell. You know what I'm saying? And you want to know if I won or lost?
How'd you want to lose?
No, I'm just saying, it's like basically, you win when just the other dude just tap out and say you don't want no more, man. And I ain't gonna front, man. Them dudes was in shape, man. So out of the 6 times I went to the stairwell, I actually won. It was like half and half. Them brothers had work. I mean, these dudes, they doing sit-ups all day, push-ups all day, running. I'm like, man, like me, okay, I was doing mixed martial arts at the time. I got a history of wrestling and boxing in high school and stuff. But, you got to have some wind if you really want to fight, effectively, man. So, yeah, I got stomped out 3 times. But still, it was respect. It was respecting the block, and they loved it. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew I wasn't no punk. They knew I go round for round with them. You know what I mean? And that's all they want to see. They want to know, put your money where your mouth is. You all that, and a bag of chips come to the stairs. We go to the stairs, and 3 times it didn't work out good for me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But yeah, that's my whole thing, man. Be a man about your shit. Stand on your square. If you got to stand alone, stand alone. I ain't never been no type of cat, man, that I need a crew. I need a gang. You know what I mean? I need backup. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that will disqualify you from being an alpha because you don't have a lot of dudes around you, hugging your nuts. You know what I mean? Or following you, or, everybody following your mandate or whatever. You could be alpha and still be on your lonesome. You know what I mean? And that's always how I've operated, man. You know what I'm saying? Because for the most part, I ain't gonna front. Most people to me are irritation because I operate on an honor system. You know what I mean? And most people that I've met, they are not honorable people. So I choose to insulate myself from, cats of that nature, man.
Let me shout out to Clutch. I'm gonna start jumping in a little bit. Hope y'all don't mind. Let me say this real quick. As far as this whole, alpha term, I don't never go around calling myself whoever it is, or I'm the greatest nigga ever. What I found out. It is more hard, or it's much easier to get the respect of women. It's an easy thing to do that. That is something that is very simple to do. I think that's why you see a lot of guys who are like, preachers or dating coaches and stuff like that. But what I have found is this: as a man that wants to get the respect and camaraderie of other men, especially when they black, that by far is the most hardest thing. What I've learned in even with this little site that I have with negroministry.com, shout out to my brother Pharaoh Edmondson. It's good to see him. There's so many personalities that have more that are bigger than mine and that have more success. Like I can't, compare to Alan Roger Curry's success. I can't compare to Ron Will's success, or even in some cases Donovan Sharp's. But what I've also learned is that to get people to buy into what it is that you're trying to do and to get them to stay there and to work with their personalities. Even guys how I met Super Sly. Super Sly, I tell you, man, Super Sly, hey, he will cuss your ass out with the quickness, man. Like, he don't fuck with too many people. You know what I mean? But it should max city limits, those people. But I think like one of the things that for dudes who really want to at least get respect from other men, I don't know if that's a characteristic of alpha. It's also the hardest thing, I think, is getting guys who typically would not really want to fuck with you to like want to work with you, and you wanting to work with them, and you establishing a good reputation amongst men. That's something that I really don't see a lot of black men, at least, thinking that's important or wanting to do. And so, I just kind of wanted to throw that in. Even wanting to network with other men in our culture, it's something I see white men doing all the time, especially in Poland or in Ukraine. In fact, that from seeing these guys, build schools and do things and build, apartment complexes and stuff in Poland and in Ukraine, it got me wanting to kind of link up with more brothers and trying to do things like this and into pull situations. Now, I will say this too. I was definitely in a beta situation this week because something happened behind the scenes. In the role switch, I needed Tony Maceo, and I think I told Ghana Dan this same thing. Tony Maceo actually solved the issue for me that I felt that I had an idea how to solve, but he told me exactly how to solve it. You understand? So even though it's my site, it was Tony Maceo that solved the situation. So it made me, in that sense, the guy that was like, okay, you're the beta guy, and it's the roles, if you want to say the roles switch at that time. So it's like that too. And I want to talk about switching environments because sometimes the roles switch, right? You might be alpha like in Stockton, California, but you show to London, England, and you back beta again, right? You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
So let me kind of go to I'll start with Ghana Dan and let you kind of, you know, however you want to build on whatever anybody else said. I'll let you start and we'll go to Clutch.
Yeah, what you did, I wouldn't call that beta shit. That was the epitome of alpha or an elevated man, knowing when to defer to someone who may have wisdom or insight to help you solve a problem. That's one of the greatest downfalls to a lot of men in general, especially black men. We so used to, we want to be right all the damn time. We don't know when to ask for help. And it sometimes come at a heavy cost. You lose a family member, lose your damn life, lose a lot of damn money, not asking for wisdom. I mean, I had to sit at a lot of people's feet in Ghana and learn how to pick apart the Ghanaian brain, because here it is. I didn't want to take my black American ass to an African country and pretend like I'm their savior. And it took me 3 years of learning. First, I had to deal with my own shit, unresolved issues from my childhood. And then I was able to hear and be able to see how can I provide a need, because I don't want to go there dumping a lot of money like other African Americans, everybody else building resorts and all kind of shit that the average person can't even afford. I'm striving to offer a service that is a need to the community at large. So I had to sit back and observe and listen and go through some trial and error. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with deferring, asking for wisdom. We need to do that more often. I mean, hey, me and you talk, me and a few other brothers on YouTube have been talking. There's a lot of shit I don't know. And, you know, that doesn't diminish my manhood or my value by asking another man I respect, who I see was doing something valuable with his life. You know, I'm watching Max City do some amazing shit. You know, he opened up himself, you know, and brothers are throwing insight and wisdom on certain things about healing. That is some alpha shit. Other than that, you know, he could have stayed doing whatever he's doing, or I don't know the full particular situation. And so, you know, I respect men like that, you know, who don't know and say, hey, you know, ask for some help or some additional insight and make a solid decision from there.
Let me go to Clutch. Go ahead. Who wanted to weigh in on that before I go to Clutch? You might want to respond to that real quick.
No.
All right, let's go ahead. Welcome, Clutch, to the panel. What's up, Santos?
Hey, what's good, guys? Thank you for inviting me on. And just to answer the question, just want to reiterate. So basically, the situation you went through is that you were asking someone in a position to give you assistance. Am I right?
Yeah. There was a situation that happened, and to Tony Maceo, I called him up and explained it was actually serious. And he told me exactly how to go about it, what to do, and that's exactly what I did. And it was within a few hours. It was done.
All right, cool. So here's the thing: asking for help within itself, or just asking for help in general, that has nothing to do with being alpha versus being beta. As a matter of fact, in some cases, or in a lot of cases, showing or admitting the fact that you may need help with something, or you may not know everything in the world, actually is more alpha than anything. Because one, that shows maturity. Two, that shows that you're willing to. Two, that shows that you're willing to be the best you can be, and in a way, that drives you to being more of an alpha than anything else. People who tend to think that they know everything, yeah, they may have the appearance of being alpha, and they do a hell of a job in playing that role. But when the rubber meets the road, or when the shit hits the fan, and when a lot of these guys who think they know it all or knew it all end up getting caught up, that's when you really start to reveal, or that's when it's really starting to reveal who's alpha versus who's beta. I mean, we can compare that to what you guys were talking about earlier about like dudes jumping other dudes in the street and that sort of thing. I mean, you got a lot of these guys who think they know it all, think they're the shit, think they run the yard just because a couple of minions under them peg them as being the man in charge, the HNIC. But as you said, Tony Maceo, and as I agree with, especially with my experience growing up in a place like D.C. and that even crappier place east of it, a lot of these guys who tend to roll in packs or who tend to say that they're this and they're that and they're so-called alpha, a lot of it's a front, man. So I completely agree with what you guys stated.
Okay. Now, good points. Let's go to Super Slide. Super Slide, you want to weigh in on any of that?
No. What he said was correct. I don't think brothers don't know how to humble themselves and ask for help when needed, especially when it's more than evident. That's one of those untold aspects of being an alpha that's never talked about and never mentioned, because to us that's seen as weakness if you have to ask another man for help, unfortunately. So yeah, I agree with everything that was said by Mac City.
Let me.
Speaking of Tony.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Like I said, well, Tony, man, that's my brother from another mother, man. I'm trying to take her as many times because I do have a problem asking for help because I've been such a self-contained unit, and I've always prided myself on being able to handle whatever comes to me without help. But I don't know. It's like Tony has ESP sometimes, and sometimes he can just feel a disturbance in the force, and it's weird. Sometimes he'll call me up and be like, "What's going on, brother? You all right?" And I'll be like, he's like, "Oh, come on, spit it out." And so I have to humble myself, just like with the California State Franchise Tax Board. You seen that video I did?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, where they was attacking me saying I owed this sort of money because I owed them taxes. I'm like, I've never lived in California. What are you talking about? So me, I'm used to handling stuff by myself, but I knew I was ill-equipped to go to war with these people. I didn't know what I was doing, man, as far as going down to the court building and starting a lawsuit and all that, man. But of course, man, it's like Tony, he's always on time, man. Like, yeah, man, these people from California, man, they trying to say I owe them like 14 grand in taxes. He like, what? He like, oh, hell no, let's go to war. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, man, And so that would have been very beta of me actually not to admit that I didn't have the knowledge or the expertise to actually go up against these people, which I didn't. I didn't have the knowledge to do it, but I had to humble myself and just admit to Tony, like, look, man, I'm in a pickle. Man, I got some stuff coming down and I'm ill-equipped to deal with it, bro. Can you help me? You know what I'm saying? And he helped me and we waxed that ass. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, all kings need advisors. You know what I'm saying? Presidents got people in their cabinet. You know what I mean? Basically to fill the holes of places where they're deficient. You know what I mean? So I just want to throw that in there and give a shout out to my boy Tony, because Tony has saved my ass 3 or 4 times already, especially, on legal situations, man. He the coldest with it, man. Shout out to Tony.
Oh, yeah. Let me just say that, man. Yeah, because Tony saved my ass, too. Here's certain things. There's certain things that I guess I would say, like, you're good at. Like me, let's say quite naturally, I'm good at this is my thing. I'm good at like networking with different people and doing a certain type of platform that people can contribute to. You know what I mean? And that's like kind of my skill. But in other things, I'm very, 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 very weak or don't know how to do it at all. It's just that's just something that I know about myself. Like Tony Maceo, he ain't the kind of person that likes to market or nothing like that. That's not really what he likes to do. Is his strength. But the nigga can write his ass off. The nigga is hella smart. He knows a lot of intel on certain things. He knows he has a very good sense for understanding people's personalities, understanding how people's motivations for why they do things, stuff like that. He has a really good insight to life. And I think what's happening with us as black men, we don't really look for the talent in other brothers to even be able to like you said, Max City, you typically roll by yourself. We don't even get a chance to even come together with a group of brothers because we just don't, like it's like, nah, fuck all these niggas and stuff like that. I think that's the big problem with me. I think I don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. But I got enough sense to know, like, well, damn, Super Sly has some talent, Ghana Dan got some talent, man. Tomorrow got talent, let's bring these dudes and LAR movement, stuff like that. And understand that there are times where the things are gonna rotate. Well, you know something and somebody else don't know something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
Because you can't treat niggas like I'm the main nigga. I run shit. Grown niggas ain't going for that. You gonna be by yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No man want to get talked to like that. And that's something that I know because I don't like nobody talking to me like that either. But it's just certain things. Like I think that every dude is alpha in things and beta in things. You understand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me do this. Let me go to Super Sly. Anything you want to add on that, dog?
No, you said it.
Okay. That was quick. Ghana Dan. Let's see.
And there ain't nothing to add to that. That was simple. That's idiot proof.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y'all niggas better start talking and make this damn podcast longer, nigga.
Go ahead.
Who got something to say?
I was about to say, I got some points to make, and I'll try to not be as long-winded. But as far as two things, one, no man is alpha by themselves. Now, there are those who do stuff by themselves, at the very least in the front end. Like, all right, dudes in the hood, dudes in the street. You're hustling, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you're doing that, granted, we can argue that's right or wrong, but if you're doing that by yourself, if you're doing that without sticking up people, without trying to screw over people, if you're doing dirt on your own, even if you're the dude on the block getting into fights, as long as you're fighting by yourself, as long as you aren't trying to jump anyone, as long as you're like the Debo or whatever, a one-man army, all right, you have more of a credence to call yourself an alpha than anyone else. But on the back end of things, to be fair, no man is alpha on their own because, quite frankly, we got to look at the comparison of this version of the Black Manosphere versus what was called the Black Sector YouTube beforehand. Before, guys like O'Shea, LAR Movement, other guys in here, and also the dating coaches, before they appeared, I remember a time when most of the black men were lone wolves, such as your David Carrolls, your Tommy Sotomayor's, myself, Queasy, Painless, the list goes on. Yeah, we held our own, all right. There was moderate growth amongst us, but for the most part, the Black Manosphere wasn't moving in any sort of direction whatsoever. Compare that. And also, we were outnumbered by those who disagreed with us, those who drank the black Kool-Aid, either whether it was the women, whether it was mostly the simp dudes, surprisingly. It was mostly the simp dudes that we had a lot of our battles with and that we had to contend. I mean, granted, they weren't a match because of other reasons. But the fact of the matter is, we didn't make as much progress as we could have made if all of us, for instance, decided to at the very least unify, have hangouts like this, have think tanks like this, and so forth. Another reason why I say alpha men are truly not soul in their activities or soul when it comes to being made alpha is because look at the result of what certain people who are consider themselves lone wolves are going through right now. Tommy Sotomayor, for instance. I think this is the second time that there has been a mass flagging on his behalf. Yes, he is the hardest worker on this sector of YouTube, and yes, he deserves his credit. But the reason why he has to be the hardest worker on YouTube is because he operates in the lone wolf philosophy. of being an alpha male, which doesn't discredit him from being an alpha male. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But it definitely makes the job that much harder.
Some good points.
Okay.
Let me go to Max City. Why do brothers have this? And I'm gonna get to the women and what they see and what dudes see. Let me kind of ask you two questions because I know this is gonna get the second one. Why are there so many long-minded black men that want to try to do everything by themselves? They want to do it all for themselves. They don't really want to put other brothers on or something like that, or kind of work with other brothers. Why does that happen a lot? And then also, when other dudes see what we consider alpha, what is different than what we see in other brothers that like, okay, he knew what he's doing versus what women see, what black women see. So you can deal with that.
Well, of course, I can only speak for myself, man. Like I told you, I'm typically, I roll solo, man. But when I was trying to get my adult entertainment business started, I talked to you about this before, man, on a prior show. But I gathered up like 3 individuals. I gathered up 2 dudes to go recruit women for me, and I also had a partner who was good at web design, man. So the first time I tried to get the ball rolling, and I told these 2 cats, man, that's going to recruit the females for me, make sure you have 2 forms of ID and a birth certificate. These dumbasses show up at the hotel with 3 females who look underage, and I'm like, show me the documents, man. Show me the birth certificate and the IDs. And, these niggas said, nigga, you tripping, man. Look, come on, man, with the bullshit, man. Look, I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, so you trying to get me hooked up, thrown in prison? I'm like, nah, man. 2 forms of ID and a birth certificate. How hard is that? But, these cats, just like a lot of dudes on YouTube, man, like they don't really want to listen to nothing anybody got to say on any videos unless it's talking about some pussy, man. That's what these cats was like. It was like, they just wanted to see some butt naked chicks do some raunchy stuff, man. They didn't care about the business angle at all. They didn't take me serious. And then my partner, who was supposed to do web design stuff, he was on the same stuff. All he wanted to see was ass and titties, man. And I'm like, I'm trying to run a business. All right. Have you got any templates for me to show me, you're starting on the website, something. And so what I found out was, look, if you're going to do this, if you're going to be serious, you got to get serious-minded people. And I couldn't find any serious-minded people. So I did everything solo. I did all the recruiting myself. I did the photography myself. I did the video myself. I did the website myself. I was like, look, I ain't got time for the nonsense. So for as far as I'm concerned, man, that's why I basically roll solo, man, because I can only depend on myself. And I get highly irritated when niggas pass the buck and when they give me excuses. I'm not no excuse type dude. I don't want to hear no excuses. When I want something done, I want it done. You know what I mean? And so, we're going back to the female joint. And of course, we having this conversation because all of it is predicated upon the female, man. Everybody is weighing what is an alpha by what the broad see. Right. You know what I mean? That's all it is, man. The broad, if she want to screw you, bam, automatically you're alpha. That's what it comes down to, man. And of course, it's ridiculous. Even if the cat exhibits the most destructive behavior, you know what I mean, that's counterproductive to the culture and to the black community, all of a sudden he's alpha. He's supposed to be something that's good for the. I'm not understanding this logic. There's this big disconnect, man. So that's why, of course, I use destructive versus constructive behavior, man. And like you said, O'Shea, in that video, it was very profound. Like, stop letting these women dictate what is an alpha and what ain't an alpha. Stop doing it, because when you let that happen, the woman basically creates and engenders chaotic behavior and dysfunctional behavior. She gravitates towards that. And when men basically get a cookie for acting that way, it just emboldens the behavior of men to act in that fashion. They're like, well, this is what women like. They want dumbasses. They want knuckleheads. They want dysfunctionality. They want chaos. Bam, that's what I'm going to do. And when of course, I told you I worked in the prison, but also I mentored, I've adopted, and I did foster care. And behind every tragic story about one of them kids coming into my house, right, it was behind some stupid shit that Quisha did or Pookie and Ray Ray did. You know what I mean? And of course, I had to come behind that nonsense and clean that up. I had to be like, okay, your mama wasn't shit and your daddy wasn't shit, but you in Big Mike house now, and we gonna clean that shit up. Which it blew their mind. They couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? When them little niggas fucked up, I sent their ass outside cutting the grass with tweezers, nigga. I'm like, get your ass out there, take these scissors and cut my grass. Like, oh, this nigga crazy. I'm like, I ain't playing with you. Like I said, be your ass home by this time. You gonna be home by it. It just blew their mind. They're like, damn, somebody giving me some orders, some structure.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, and of course, their mamas didn't give a shit, daddies didn't give a shit. Destructive behavior becoming the norm in the black community, and then this goes into the whole argument: should black men, clean up the messes that have basically been fostered by the Pookies and the Ray Rays and the Quishas? Well, it's a situation like this. If you want to build the black community, if you want to have a vibrant black community, well, black men, you're going to have to step up to the plate and you're going to have to bite the bullet and you're going to have to make some sacrifices. That means you're going to have to clean up the mess that these other people are creating. But on the other hand, if you don't give a shit about the community, you know what I mean? Then shit, it's all good, man. You know, do what you want to do, because I've been on both sides of the fence. Starting out, you know, I was a big believer in trying to save as many people as I could. You know, like I said, fostering, adopting, my house being a hub for a lot of neighborhood boys coming over, teaching them boxing and wrestling down in my basement, you know, giving them outlets to basically vent and get some of that aggression out. And, you know, right about now, I'm in a phase of my life where I'm not doing that shit no more, man. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it no more. I've dedicated 20 years of my life trying to clean up this bullshit of these miscreants, man. I ain't doing it no more. So the next nigga can handle that. You know what I mean? It's Disney World time for Big Mike. You know what I mean? I'm like, boy, I'm trying to tell you, I'm over here getting it in with the youngest, prettiest, big booty freaks you can imagine. I've earned the right. I'm not cleaning up no more messes. It ain't happening. So that's all I got to say about that.
Let me spin it, man. Let's talk about this. Okay, because I think Super Sly, he talked about this real early in the podcast. Okay, so are the guys who are, you know, and let's be honest, right? These so-called alpha males, because we know that black men who are intelligent, that could do things for the community as far as infrastructure. Yeah, maybe they may not be able to get all the bitches, but they understand how to maybe how to install programs. They know how to probably build some businesses, how to keep employment. They know how to do a lot of infrastructure in the black communities. Okay, but in other communities, Asian white guys, if these same dudes were in those communities, they would be considered alpha males. So should these brothers who are talented, you know, should they come back and bring their alpha male ass in the community and compete with the Pookies, Ray Ray niggas, and establish themselves, assert themselves as the true dominant forces in African American communities? Should they or should they not do this? I know we passed on Super, so he had anything to say, but I'm pretty sure he has something to say about this now. Let's go to Ghana Dan and see what he has to say, and then we'll go to Clutch it back to Super Slot.
Wow. Oh, goodness. I'm kind of on the fence.
Man, me too, nigga.
If you have no intentions of being around the hood, I could say no. But if you have family members and friends that you frequent and spend time with, I have a vested interest in making sure, because I have daughters. I have 4 of them. 2 of them married. I have 2 more. If I don't put energy in somebody's son or at least my neighbor's son, he may be the one that may physically assault my daughter if he feels powerless, or he may be around the young men who may do things that are foul to my thing. Because so it's kind of iffy because you're dealing with black women and a lot of them like chaos and disorder. Wow, man. Oof. Goodness, I wish you didn't come to me first.
Man, I gotta do.
Damn. Yes and no. You should. I believe you should at least take one or two sons in your immediate environment or within your family. At least one or two. Try. At least put in some effort, because we can't. Right now we got legions of degenerate young men who know nothing about manhood. All they know how to be is women. All they know how to do is interact and act and see the world as women do. And it got shit fucked up. And, for those of us who are now, like, I'm 45, pretty much everybody on the panels, mid-30s and 40s, who's the group after us who will help pass on a culture of, perseverance, going to school, like you, O'Shea? Max City working with the men, young men, and all the things he's done. Xanatos, thinking big enough to leave DC and go to Utah. Super Sly, because we need to impregnate these young boys' minds that they got options, that they don't have to stay where they at. And but one conversation or a couple of conversations can change a little boy's mind. I used to be on that rah-rah trying to save everybody, but not like I used to be, because I value my time more. How can I ask another man to do something that I may not be willing to do? But I have 3 young men that will be coming from Ghana. I mean, be coming from the States to Ghana next year, and I'll be mentoring them. But they got fathers, so I'll help young black men. But yeah, man, I'm already doing some interviews, and it's heartbreaking the shit that these young boys going through. I'm wondering, do I want them around my children?
Hey, that's real. That's real, man. That's real.
I'm in Ghana. I don't want them fucking all the village girls ruining my reputation.
Right.
That's true. When you have something to lose, you got to be surgical about your movements. So I like to pass the buck. I wish you didn't come to me on that one, because
may I interject?
I'm on the fence.
Interject. We'll go to Clutch, and then we'll go back to Super Sly. Super Sly, I know you got something for me this time, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
Oh, nigga. Okay, go ahead on, brother.
Hey, Dig. What he was just talking about, man, like bringing certain undesirable elements, around your family and around your household, man. That's a real shit right there, man. Because like I said, the foster care agency used to send me gangbangers, you know what I mean? Because they kind of basically understood and knew that we gonna send this fool to Big Mike house because we think Big Mike can handle it, you know what I mean? But the thing was, it's like, because I was living in a pretty upscale neighborhood. And these boys, they pretty much used to run around doing what they want, man, sneaking out, smoking weed, drinking liquor, playing dice on the corners and stuff, and so they was basically go crazy in that environment that I was in, because it was too Bill Huxtable, it was too Cosby, they couldn't deal with it, man. So they would wild out and the police would show up at my door all the time, man, with the boys in handcuffs, talking about, he got caught stealing a car, or he got caught shoplifting, and and I wouldn't have been able to, of course, deal with these boys if I had like girls, you know what I mean? I had 2 biological boys, you know what I mean? So of course I wouldn't been able to even deal with these boys, if I had girls in the house or whatever, because it was just buck wild, man. And of course everybody knew that my house, was kind of off the chain, because the police was in and out my door so many times with the boys that didn't make it. A lot of boys didn't make it. You know what I mean? They would come in, they stay a week, and they'd be like, nah, I can't deal with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? They would bounce and shit. But the thing is, when you do this, the feeling that you get, man, like I said, I have 9 sons now, through my fostering and through my adopting. And nothing makes me feel better when they come to me and they call me on the phone on Father's Day or whatever, and they say, I'm getting kind of choked up now thinking about it, man. It just, man, it just makes me feel good, bro. Hold on.
You good?
Man, I've just seen so much. So much pain, man. I just seen just too much pain, bro. And it just hurts. All right, I'm getting it together. But no, I love my boys, man. And I don't have no regrets, dealing with the nonsense I had to deal with to raise them. You know what I mean? And like I say, right about now, I'm at a different point in my life, man, where I'm done. But, you get rewarded, man. The rewards come back. And I get those rewards when my boys go to college, when my boys get a good job, and they keep their nose clean. You know what I mean? And they take care of their kids. And I like to think that I was the reason for that, man.
Right.
I saved them from prison. I saved them from crime. You know what I mean? So whatever cats do, they do it. Your reasons are your own. But at some point, if you really care, about the community, and you really care about these young men out here, it don't hurt, man, to reach out every now and then, and make something happen, man.
Right.
Because like I said, it's been very rewarding to me. And, as far as the money's concerned or whatever, man, I wouldn't give a damn, if someone gave me $1 million to reverse course, to reverse trajectory, and say, if you could do it all over again, you know what I mean? Be like, nah, I love my boys. I love my sons. I die for them, man. You know what I mean? I went to war for them. Shit. And, they prosperous. I only have one son, and he's in and out the pen right now, but I love him just the same. You know what I mean? And I talk to him, trying to get his ass right. But, sometimes you can't save them all, man. You can't save them all. But I did my thing, man. And they love me for it, and I love them.
No, that's powerful, man. I know you talked about that. In fact, when I first came across you, it was this time last year. When I was in Uganda and I got hooked in, you were talking about the same situation. Let me go to Super Sly real quick, man. Super Sly, what did you want to add in on this?
Wow. Well, after what Mac just said, shit, I feel like an ass for what I'm about to say.
Well,
Hey, do your thing, man. Do your thing.
That's why they get paid the big bucks, man.
Hey, real shit, brother. I tip my hat to you. I salute you, sir, because you a better man than me. Because
Right.
at this stage in my life, fuck these kids.
I feel you, man.
When Alfred said, "You just want to watch some men want to watch the world burn," that's me.
Right.
I want this shit to burn, all of it, it. Because and I'm gonna share my story. So my 2 older stepdaughters, the one is 21. This little heifer here, I mean, she calls me whenever she needs something. She's like, I wish you were my real dad, which is cool and all. I pay a car insurance. The little heifer ain't paid me in a year. Or whatever. She's she's trying to find herself in life. That's cool. The second stepdaughter, this heifer just graduated high school. Now, mind you, they daddies ain't shit. Daddy, no money. He gets an SSI check. He's worthless. He's worthless. Okay. So his stepdaughter, the one with all the colleges on the chalkboard, she had a high school graduation the other day. You think this bitch gave me a motherfucking ticket, even though I couldn't go? You think just out of respect, Hey, I know you can't go to the graduation, but here, you had a part in this. You think I got a motherfucking ticket? No. But I don't complain. I don't say shit. It's a shitty position for you to ask men who have been shunned, for the good part of their lives. And part of it, some men do have to understand, let that shit go. Like, if the bitch didn't want you, the bitch didn't want you. But to ask these men to come back into these communities where they're not wanted, where they're not going to be revered and cherished and admired and respected, that's disrespectful to them, And I have no problem with no man saying, you know what, hell no. Fuck another man's kids, not my problem. You clean it up. Matter of fact, let nature fix the mess. Because at some point, nature will correct itself. Society will correct itself to a certain extent. If you're a hellion out here raising hell, they will deal with you. The law of averages, whatever the law of attraction, you will get dealt with. I feel bad saying this, but I'm to the point. I'm tired. Fuck another man's kid, especially when I got my own daughter to worry about, my own flesh and blood. I will never do this again. I will never take anybody take away time from my daughter to deal with someone else's child. Yeah, you crazy. I can't do it. I can't.
Nah, don't feel bad about it. Nah, don't feel bad about it, man. Shit, I mean, I feel you on that, man. You good?
I didn't want to sound like a bitter rant, but it's just like, man, I see it too many times. And guess what? When the kids, 9 times out of 10, when they are successful, you don't get a thank you card for that shit.
Right.
The
No,
average
you
person
don't.
doesn't. You don't get
No,
nothing.
you don't.
You're an afterthought.
Thankless.
Oh, that one nigga my mom was fucking. He was mean as hell. He made me do this and this and that. That's about the last memory he had that child will have of you for the most part. For the most part. But when I hear Max City say his thing, it's like, okay, there's a sliver of hope. But then listen, you give me the match, I'm letting this bitch on fire. I'm letting all this burn out. All of it. Scorch earth.
Yeah, and ain't no problem with that as long as, because I see a lot of cats, man, talk about how they pro-black and for the black community, but yet and still they not willing to make sacrifices to do that. Now, in your case, you just want to watch it burn. So, you are consistent. Your philosophy is congruent. You don't get two shits about the community. You want to watch it burn. So you not out here, preaching all that, say the community shit. So it makes sense coming out of your mouth. You know what I mean? And I understand what you're talking about because in me doing my hustles, right? There's a lot of females out here that's fucked up, man. And they got like a lot of kids. And I used to I'm like, God damn, man, these females is fucked up. A lot of people they don't understand why females need pimps. It's because they retarded. They don't know how to manage money, man. They don't know how to prioritize their shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a situation where if you have a female and her child's birthday is coming up, but she got to pay the heating and the lights in the dead of winter, she going to spend money on the birthday versus keeping the heat on in the house and shit like that. So a lot of times I was in charge of making sure that these females did the right thing with their money and shit, man. So I was kind of like a ward over those children, man. I mean, I've taken care of so many children. It's ridiculous, man. And at some point, females, they would try and drop their kids off over to my house, man, and they would lie and say they about to go on a job interview, knowing damn well they wasn't going on no job interview. They was going over some nigga house to get back shots. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bitch, who you think you talking to, right? You think I'm stupid or something? But that's a kind of just irresponsible, dirty, just disgusting things that they'll do, man, in the name of using their kids to get over. You know what I mean? So I totally understand what you're talking about, how it's a thankless job. You putting in all this work. I just had a couple females on my website. They kids just graduated high school. I've been fucking with them for 12 years. You know what I mean? They own daddies, whatnot. I didn't go to the graduations because I'm notoriously hated by a lot of the females' families. So I stay away from the graduation, but I did drop some cheese down on the kids. You know what I mean? Hit them with $200 a piece, graduation birthday, a graduation present. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it is a thankless job. You know what I mean? But like I said, the only thing I'm saying is at least be consistent, at least have, if you're going to say fuck the black community, or excuse me, if you're saying you're not going to take care of these kids, right? And you say fuck the black community at the same time, then that's cool. But don't be talking about how you for the black community, but you're not willing to make sacrifices to try and tutor or mentor, especially these young black boys. That's all I'm saying.
And yeah, let me say this real quick. The problem is it's gonna take at least 2 to 3 generations to fix this. We ain't got we're not that patient as a people. I'm sorry. We're just not. You're asking the
Right.
next 2 or 3 generations of builders and thinkers and movers and shakers to sacrifice basically, their future happiness for someone else's kid for the next two. It's that to me is not feasible. I don't see it happening. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it in this situation. Like I think we're just too far gone as a people. I mean, it's to the point where the women, you know how that goes. But maybe I'm a pessimist. That's just how I see it. I guess maybe I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I'm honorary at this stage in my life. So I done seen too much. I guess I done dealt with too much. I don't see it happening.
Mm.
Let me just weigh in real quick before we get the clutch, man. All right. I mean, since Matt kind of opened up, I did a little short earlier, man. I found out a lot. I mean, y'all know my parents was not my mom. My dad was fucked up. He was on that crack, nigga. Mismatched church socks on, clapping off beat in church, and he was fucked up. You know what I mean? Found out my grandparents wasn't my real grandparents. Like, I mean, it was some total crazy ass shit. And how I made it to this far, I don't know, nigga. It was some of the shit I've seen. I probably shouldn't even be here, nigga, to really be honest. And but one thing I will tell you is, by some small chance, when you get out of that situation, you don't want to go back, nigga. I hate to say it. Like, I hate to say it, nigga. I even was going to maybe kind of hear how I present on certain podcasts. It kind of sound very kind of pastoral or something, and I wanted to be a Baptist preacher for a minute. That was my thing. And people said, "Why don't you go into that? I just can't be dealing with these niggas, man. And I damn sure can't be dealing with these black." I almost went to Patreon with that. I'm not dealing with no black women in these churches, man. Mm. You cannot fuck with these niggas, and you cannot fuck with these hoes. And it's almost no matter how much you want to help these motherfuckers, you cannot help these motherfuckers. You can't. There is nothing you can do to help these black motherfuckers. I hate to say it, nigga. I gotta say it with my glasses on. I could take these motherfuckers off. You cannot help these niggas. Mm. You can't. You might be able to help one or two. And the things that I try to do with this little platform that I have, I try to get some people around that got some sense and say, y'all want to do a show? Do y'all want to network? I mean, it felt me good. Like a brother hit me up the other day, and he was able to go to Uganda, and he met up with Alfred, my boy. He drove him out there. And shout out to Aaron Fair. I try to just link up with the brothers. I try to do the best I can with what I know how to do. But as far as going back to where I'm from, and Little Junebug, Little John, and motherfucking Ernest, and you know what I mean, Dwight the crackhead, helping these niggas, man. Look, man, you cannot help them, because I'm gonna tell you something about niggas, and you all know this. It's only gonna be two things that can happen dealing with these motherfuckers. One, you gonna bring them up, or two, they gonna bring you down. And obviously, one of the two. And when you're dealing with motherfuckers who don't get it, it's always a struggle. Like the way Max City Limits was crying, that's how I didn't cry with my own family members. These is he doing it for people he don't know taking them in. Motherfucker, mama, daddy make you do that shit. I'm not dealing with, I don't even want to deal with them. Man, do you know I stayed over here for 2 Christmases? Like, why you didn't come home for Christmas? Oh, I don't have enough money. Nigga, I had 20 grand in the account. I'm tired of niggas. I'm tired of niggas, man. I hate to say that. If I got to deal with niggas, I'm going to deal with the motherfuckers that trying to do the same shit I'm doing. And that's the only thing you can do is with our folks. You try to go back in these communities that you come from. Number one, these niggas are gonna try to fight you on this shit. You trying to help these motherfuckers, they not gonna let you help them. Oh, you conceited, you stuck up, and then you got to come down to where they are to help them. And that's one thing I don't mind doing when it comes to men, because men need a certain respect. Black men, if it was just black men in these communities I could deal with, it'd be different. But these black women in these communities, they not gonna let no black men come in and do nothing decent, not without kissing their motherfucking ass.
Right.
You're not gonna do that, man. Not with them, with these hoes in these communities. These bitches are not gonna let no niggas come up in there on no real shit trying to help these motherfucking boys. See, black men, you can deal with these boys if you can get them by themselves without their mama there. You can help them. But when their motherfucking mamas is there, you cannot help these niggas without these women fucking them up. And I feel for these young boys, man. I feel for these I do. It hurts my heart to see these young black men and some of these black women, man. I made a show. I don't know if you guys heard the Do Black Women Need Protection. Did y'all hear that video?
Nah, I ain't see that one yet.
Yep.
Man,
I saw it.
It was a I hate to brag, nigga. That was a classic from the heart, nigga. I hate to see these young black women, man. Like, let me just say, I know I'm getting my long-winded on. Shout out to Edward Anderson. I'm sorry. I know I'm getting clutch. Just give me a little time. I'm gonna let you get your Edward Anderson on, man.
It's good.
Do you know how easy it is to go to any place wherever it's niggas? It could be in the Black America, it could be in Africa. Man, almost every girl you gonna meet ain't got no daddy. Every girl you meet is ready to leave with you if you got some game or stay with you. Ain't no protection there. Man, Black America is the easiest way to get some pussy, man. You ain't got to meet no daddies, nigga. You go over to Ghana or Uganda for the most part, you ain't gonna meet no daddies, nigga. You go to South Africa, you ain't gonna meet no daddies, nigga. This is a worldwide thing happening, man. It's so easy to fuck these hoes, man. It's too easy. You know what I mean? And these women, man, you feel kind of bad for them, even though when you know it's so easy. It's like, damn, bitch, I just fucked you for like a pack of bubble gum, and you know, you telling me your mama got a boyfriend living in there, you want to get out of there, you know, it's so sad, man. And it make you not even want to fuck with them like that because you feel like you're taking advantage of them. And it's the same thing with these boys. When you come out these fucking communities, the first thing that you're trying to do is think, I gotta make it for my goddamn mama. That's how it was for me. You know what I mean? It's like, nigga, you in medical school, and I'm gonna just keep it real, nigga. Why am I sending money back home? I'm studying. You know what I mean? And it's the thing is, when a black man comes out of these fucked up environments, man, the first thing you got to look out for is mom. You got to get her business in order. Get grandma business in order. Because these motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they doing. So you got to do all of that shit, then organize your life. Get grandma some money for a new fence, and they think you owe it to them because you raised them. Dumb motherfuckers. That's another story. You don't even got a chance to even step out on faith in life and do your shit first that you need to do for yourself as a black man. You got to look out for grandmama and mama and your little other punk ass little brothers or wherever you got because they fucked up. Then after dealing with these niggas, I got to come back and deal with some other niggas I don't know and deal with a broad that if I get married to her, she ain't got no motherfucking money. She don't know what she's doing, so now I got to help this bitch. My mom and grandma who acting like a bitch. My little brother who's a bitch. I'm just saying literally. That's what we got to deal with. And then I'm going to come back and deal with these motherfuckers, nigga. Are you crazy? That's some real shit, man. And I love these mother. I promise you, I don't do this shit for no motherfucking money, dog. All this shit, this conversation is made about $6-7, but it's got to be talked about. Because, man, we got to overcome just that. Man, I'm tired of dealing with these motherfucking niggas. I'm tired of this shit. You know what I mean? And it's sad because you want to help them, but goddamn. You know how many niggas, man, that stayed in these neighborhoods, taught kids boxing and all this shit? Man, these kids can give a fuck about these dudes once they make it. Like you said, it's a damn shame. You know, and who all these NBA players thinking when the NBA finals come along? Oh, my mama did this for me. Bitch, your mama didn't do a goddamn thing for your motherfucking ass. She didn't teach you how to shoot no goddamn basketball, bitch. She wasn't even coming to your games. Let me stop, man. I'm sorry, Clutch. Go ahead and take it over because I'm gonna fuck around and start I'll put this motherfucker on page. Go ahead, Clint.
Hey,
Yo, what's up?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, man, glad you passed the ball to me because I'm probably going to trigger some people right now.
Get it started, man.
Oh, man, let me tell you something. I know you feel sorry when it comes to a lot of these girls who need guidance, but real talk, a lot of these girls, particularly these black girls, they know what they're doing. And a lot of them, yeah, they say they want to make something and get out of this environment and that sort of thing. But I mean, if you want to take the opposites attract version of everything, and there are a lot of people who say, well, black women from the suburbs like black men from the hood because it's not what they're used to. Then shouldn't black women from the hood, like black dudes from the suburbs, or dudes from who have that suburban like image or the EL classic man image? Yeah, right. Hell no. In many cases, when I went to school, a lot of them who were from the hood, who didn't have a dad around, who barely went without eating, they wanted the same thing. They wanted the struggle. So I know you're a bit more sympathetic than I am when it comes to black women, but I know why a lot of people in this sector make videos getting on black women. It's because they care. The reason why I don't make videos about black women is because I don't. And even those who wanted something and wanted a way out, I want to give you a story about this. One time, a friend of mine's, black female friend of mine's, when I was in school, we were doing study sessions. We were friends. We were cordial, that sort of thing. She had a boyfriend. I was messing around with someone at the time, so we didn't really go in. But one night, it was not her father or stepfather. I've met her stepfather a few times, and he was cool, whatever. But it was one time when the mother came in, and this is the first time, mind you, that I've seen the mother. It was the mother who literally yelled my ass out of that house. No, I wasn't doing anything to hit on the chick. I wasn't even flirting with her. Okay, we may have cuddled when watching them in between studying or whatever, but there was no sexual contact at the time. But she still told my ass to get out that house. What do you think you doing with my daughter? Blah 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 blah. That's the thing that a lot of these women instill in their daughters. I believe that they intentionally push their daughters to date a certain group of men and to dog a certain group of other men in order to not have daughters do better than them. The irony of it is that later on, like 2 weeks later, guess who I got it in with? I don't know what happened. I guess it's true what they say about women going after men who their parents don't approve. But about the topic of getting back to the community, if you see my videos, I think a lot of you realize where I stand with this, and that's an emphatic no overall. Okay. But check this out. If you're going to give back to the community, you have to do these certain things at the very least. One, if you give back to the community like mentoring and that sort of thing, you cannot live in that same community.
Hello.
If you're giving back to the community in South Central, you better be living in Pasadena at the very least. If you're going to the Bronx, you better be living somewhere in Northern Jersey. If you're in Southeast DC, your ass better be living in Fairfax somewhere. It's all proximity, because if you're living in that same community you try to give back to, there will be those who will try to do one to you. Also, you're going to have to focus on just the men. The women or the girls, the women are going to have to focus on them. And we all know how well they're doing with that. So if you're a man, if you're a black man who wants to get back to the community, you're going to have to focus on the young boys, because as Max City and a couple of other people say, you pull those boys to the side without being in the room full of females whose mother implanted them all sorts of crap.
Mhm.
they're all right. You can talk to them face to face. In many cases, they'll be relieved. So there's that. Also, you have what was that? What was it? Hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. Okay, so you have to come in with the intention on making the neighborhood better. And no, I don't mean making the neighborhood better as in like we're all unified, we're all one big happy black family. You're gonna have to come in with the ultimate goal of something along the lines of gentrification. That's going to have to be your ultimate goal, because if you can make an impact, if you can make an impact to the point in which you can lower the crime, lower the violence, yeah, that's going to help at one point. But remember, we are facing opposition from multiple sources. It isn't just the women, but from multiple sources, the media, that sort of thing, exterior forces. Some people want to call it white supremacy, whatever. Fine, let's call it what it is, or call it whatever you want. But you're gonna have to go in with the mindset that, all right, I want to improve this community so I can change this community, even if it means changing the demographics. And trust me, when you change those demographics, especially if you own property in that community, property that you don't live in, that's when you start seeing a return on investment. And one of the more effective tactics that you can use when giving back to the community, and this is a strategy I am absolutely in favor of, is that you got to create sleeper cells. Now, for all of you guys who don't know what sleeper cells are, sleeper cells, let's just use the post 9/11 terrorist version of this. Sleeper cells are individuals who are a part of a particular group and stay dormant until it is necessary or they are called to act. Now, in the term Black community sleeper cells, what you want to do is instill not a form of terror, but a form of self-independent thought and resistance against the grain. You want to instill in these boys ideas that do not fit in with the community, ideas that has been draining down the community for decades on end. If you want to train these boys to really make an impact in the community, since they're stuck there since they're kids, you train them what they have been, or you untrain them what they have been trained from the gynocracy, and you instill them thoughts of independence, thoughts such as you don't need to act like a little hoodlum to get the attraction of non-black females. Education is important. Going to the military doesn't make you a sellout. Going to college doesn't make you not black enough. Going to the trades doesn't make you not worthy enough. And even if it has to go against the trainings of what these single mothers put into them, even if you want to go so as far as to untrain them about what they've been taught about Christianity, the Democratic Party, all those sorts of things, when you train them while they're young, eventually they're going to learn these lessons and they're going to remember them. And one day when they're teenagers, particularly in that hood, and they become shining examples of what it is to be the antithesis of the Pookie and Ray Ray in that neighborhood, when they start rising and when it becomes noticeable, when they talk back to these hood rat chicks who try to get in their face talking about you ain't got no swag, when they stand up to these Pookies and Ray Rays, that's when you start seeing the effect of these sleeper cells.
Okay.
And yes, one of them may get mowed down, whether it's socially or sometimes physically. But if you implant these sleeper cells, clusters at a time in various neighborhoods throughout the Black community, watch them rise to prominence. I hate using this example and comparing it to the terrorists or the Muslims in Europe, but look at how they're having Europe
calling me
on blast. They're having Europe shook right now. That is what you want to do to the hood at large.
Okay. Let me just
My bad, I'm rambling.
Yeah, no, you was getting your Edward on, dog. You was getting your Edward on. Let me do this real quick, guys. Do me a favor. As a brother hit a super chat. Somebody was calling me on the damn thing. We got the notifications not even working, and we still got 300 people in the stream watching. So, guys, thank you so much. Thanks for Clutch for that. Real quick, let me Mr. Barlow. My parents stay next door to a daycare in the hood on Main Street. On the Main Street, I'm constantly arguing with black women, blocking my parents' driveway, and they get mad and don't want to move their car. Shaking my head. Wow. W double you Bradley. Real fat conversation heard in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you again, player, for the donation super chat. J.L. Edwards, he already did that. Darky McTown. So, guys, we have all these people. You niggas can't even like the fucking video. This is why you can't do shit for you motherfuckers, because y'all can't even like the video. You got niggas on here cursing. Niggas almost getting ready to cry. Niggas getting ready to cry, then cursing again. And you, this is a heartfelt podcast. Niggas is opening up their motherfucking feelings. And you
that's some
niggas
shit.
cannot even like the video. Now, it's 304 you motherfuckers. We only got 4 super chats. I'm not really mad about that because I know it's Sunday. You niggas just spent all your money at this motherfucking church and gave it to Reverend Do You Wrong. But you could at least like the fucking video. I tell you niggas this every goddamn time. Jesus paid it all, so the likes is free, nigga. To tell your motherfucking ass again.
I'm over here testifying and catching the Holy Ghost. These niggas can't like the goddamn video.
Yeah, man. No, come on.
I came on because of Mac City.
Look, you go talk to these niggas. He really preached today. What did he preach about? I don't know, but he sure preached.
You touch my soul. Nigga, touch my soul today.
We gonna bring in Erica Williams in here. Erica, so good to have you on.
What's good, everybody?
You're just so good,
hey, lady,
and savvy and everything.
I've been at the range all day. I had to show off. Ooh.
Yeah, don't have to get my Me Too movement on. You know I'm thirsty now.
Okay, so I came on because of Mac City. It really touched me. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying.
Don't Me Too the nigga now.
So Mac City, my family is a prime example of what you're talking about. We did group homes in North Carolina. We had like 15 homes at one point before they changed some rules in North Carolina. And my uncles are all cops, used to play football at NC State, didn't make it to the pros. And what was so funny is kids would come there and be like, man, I can't go to that house. They're too strict. Don't send me there, please. They'll make me cut my hair and everything. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. They take them to the barbershop, cut all their hair, buzz cut. You're gonna cut the grass at the group home. You're gonna work. You're gonna work on our family's farms. You're gonna do all this stuff. And you would see a transformation in some kid who was like disrespectful, sagging pants, all this crazy mess. 6 months later, you got a whole different young man. And we had moms who would just drop their kids off at some of the group homes. And it was just like devastating because you got this 8-year-old boy whose mom is basically going, peace out, you know? And yeah, we did all the paperwork. So now he's good. He's with y'all now. And the real truth about what he was saying, Thanos, I think his name is, about sleeper cells is that's exactly what it was. I mean, we have about 15 guys that still show up to our family functions, even though it's been years. You know, they went off, joined the military. They're like, man, your uncle saved our lives. Like, you know, we went to college, got my own family. And every once in a while, they kind of fall off once they get, you know, too far out in the military or they go get married. But it's just, it's very interesting to see these young men who basically came, you know, if they didn't go to that group home, they would have been in juvenile detention. And I think it's so imperative. There are so many ways to give back. And they may not be able to voice it to you right away, but we've had young men come back who actually went to jail and came back and be like, yo, your family saved my life. It was enough for me. Once I went to jail, I'll never go again. I'll do everything they say. And you're making an impact, whether you think you are or not. Every young man that you talk to that goes off and actually has his own family and raises his kids, you've won. You know what I mean? You change it by little by little. And
exactly.
I just wanted to hold up this book. I know, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Put it to the camera a little bit closer. This book like changed my whole mindset because I always felt like, man, I don't fit in with any of the black girls over here. I don't fit in with any of the black guys over here. But this is Eugene Robinson, Disintegration of Black America. This book is like hot fire. It talks about the 4 groups of Black America. So you have a mainstream group who are like middle class. Your parents are going to work. They're doing what they need to do. They're taking care of you. You live in the suburbs. And then you got this group called the Abandoned. And every time I listen to your shows, that's what it sounds like. Every girl you're describing, every guy you're describing, it's the abandoned group who they're living over in a part of town. They're cutting up. They could be working. They could be doing something productive, but they're not. And it's they don't have interaction per se to do better, but I don't believe that as much anymore. I really appreciate your show. I think you do great stuff. I love the guys you bring on. And I think you do good work. So that's why I came out today.
We gotta do that one-on-one this week. I know, definitely we could do it tomorrow, or because Erica operates. Tell everybody about your channel, or why we're on right now.
So my show is like Classy Climb Blog, and so like whenever I move, my mom did 26 years in the military, dad did 10, but whenever we move, like we'd go to different places and people would act like I ain't never seen people like y'all before. And I'd be like, that doesn't make sense to me. There's no way you've not met brown people who do well, have a nice home, and come from a family that does well. But these people would act like you're some 3A, like who is this girl, right? So I started talking with people about business or how to start businesses and farms, commercial size farming. And people would be like, I've never heard this stuff before. And so I just started putting it on my YouTube channel, talking about things I was investing in and showed people how to do it. And I guess just it really took off. So channel's doing pretty well. Got about 11,000 subscribers. It's been a fun ride. I mean, I just like interacting with people because the funny thing is I think a lot of people, I'll say it this way. 90% of my sales on my site are from white people and Hispanic people in Texas. But the other 20% are like upper class Black folks. They're like a husband and wife. Husband's making 80, wife's making 60. They're trying to figure out how to move to a better side of town and invest in real estate and do well for their family. And so there's a lot of them out there. I just don't think we hear from them, right? So we have Black people have bad PR. We got like Pookie and Ray Ray and Hood Ratchet girls doing our PR. But every time I'm at the gym here in Austin, Texas, it's Black women in there, in shape, working out all the time, married. You know what I mean? It's like a different vibe. So I guess it just ran in different circles. So
You make some good points. Let me do this. Shout out to Misanthropic One. Shout out to Tony Maceo. Reverend Dr. Tony Maceo. He gonna come on in with that slow.
Is Tony here?
Pastoral. Yeah, he in the chat. And shout out to Tony Maceo. He solved. I told you guys he solved the problem for me on the Negro Manosphere. Let me say this. Before we get to the next person. Here's the thing about me. In my niggifiedness, I guess you could call I'm an American, well, at least in American standards, based on my income, I'm an American middle class. But it's so crazy because even though I don't identify necessarily with the niggas that I used to fuck with, it's I guess for niggas like me. Because I'm still in Poland, not in America. I guess if it's in America, I would be dealing with more of a middle class American females, but Black American females. But for niggas, even when you do well, you still have that tendency to fuck with those bitches. Not calling them bitches, but like those type of women that you kind of grew up with. It's a part of you. It's like you're a part of that culture. You still identify with it a little bit more. But a lot of chicks, no matter how good they do individually, they still come from many of these dysfunctional homes. You don't know how many chicks I know that's pharmacists or dentists or whatever, and they fucked up. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add that, but very seldomly do I find people that come from the same kind of background like Ghana Dan did or Erica Williams came from. You hardly find that in Black America. You find people that are the first generation trying to do that, but historically, it's messed up. Let me do this real quick. Let me go to Super Sly. Let's see what Super Sly got to weigh in on it. Super Sly, anything you want to say?
To which point exactly?
Anything you want to say, man? Get your Edward on. Get your Edward Anderson on.
Oh shit. Hold on. Give me one moment. Hold on.
Yeah, do it. Shout out to my big bro, Misanthropic One. Gotta drop an offer. When we gonna do a show, man? Thank you so much, big bro. I love you like a play cousin. You supposed to come on in here, boy.
Yeah, seriously, Misanthropic.
Yeah, man. You really, he just come in here and spend all his money and he'd be like, I'm out, bro. I'm out. Like, let's come on and do a show. I'm out, nigga.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go
maybe.
ahead.
And shout out to everybody. I love the positive vibes and the hope and we're gonna turn it around. I respect all that, but we are too far gone as a people. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep saying it. Because we have small pockets of us that are doing well and doing what we're supposed to do, but as an overall group of people, a race of people, stick a fork in us. it's gonna take too much resources, too much monies to combat basically a government sanctioned mindset. You have people being rewarded by the government for degenerate behavior. How do you combat that at the end of the day? That's my main, that would be my question to everybody at this point.
Okay, we can put that on the table. Let me welcome in Tony Maceo. Unless you want anything, you want to say anything else you want to add to that, Super Sly?
No, that's it. I mean, basically at the end of the day, it's a you talk about a government mind control, mind fuck on a group of people, and you know, I don't see no real feasible way of turning that or overcoming that at this point.
Okay. Let's let Tony Maceo weigh in. Go ahead, Tony, man. Somebody just dropped off. Who dropped off?
I think Tony did.
Oh, okay, well, Tony will. All right, we'll let Tony come back. Go ahead, Max.
Well, check it out. Yeah, man. It just comes down to, you just got to pick and choose your battles, man. There's been plenty of like kids out here that and sad to say that I kind of had to use their mom as a barometer of, am I going to be able to affect this child's life? You know what I mean? Even though I got out of the foster care and the mentoring, me doing my hustle, of course, I had a lot of females, in my cipher, man. So I got to know the children as well. And like, there were some females that didn't want me having no parts of dealing with their kids. And then there were some females that wanted to use me on that nice guy shit, right? To basically mentor and tutor, you know what I mean? And do all the hard work while they ran off and just did all sorts of ratchet shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got to pick and choose your battles. You got to look at a child, you got to look at their situation, their circumstances, and you got to say to yourself, am I really going to effectively, am I going to be able to actually have some sort of some input or some sort of influence on this child? You know what I mean? And like I said, brothers, look, there's nothing that feels better. Because I know a lot of you cats are saying, there ain't no reward in it for you. You know what I mean? Once the child grows up, he don't think about you. He worship the mama. That's not true in my case. You know what I mean? Just up here, O'Shea touched me. O'Shea gave me, put the spirit in me today to talk to y'all about this, man. I'm trying to tell you, man, look, nothing feels better, man, when you actually have young men that come back and just thank you from the bottom of their heart for being there, man. I've seen so much heartache, pain, violence, death. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and when you actually make a difference, man, when you actually, see these children that you've raised, like I said, I got 8 who are successful. I got 9 who's in and out the pen right now, but each one of those boys, man, they represent a strand on the spider web. You know what I mean? They're going to go out and they're going to make families, and then they're going to have children, and then it branches out and it just gets bigger. The positive vibes, the positivity that you put in to those boys, it branches out. You know what I'm saying? So I fully understand why a lot of cats is like hands off, because like I said, there's if I could give a percentage of who's helpable and who's not, I would say about 75% of these females and the situations that they're in, I was hands off. I'm like, I ain't got, I ain't got time for that nonsense, man. But the other 25%, man, if I see an avenue where I can help and I can make a difference, I'm on. I used to be on that. I'm not necessarily on that now. I've retired. Took my cape off. It's me time. You know what I'm saying? But yes.
I'm sorry.
So what?
What city is Mac City in?
What
city are you in?
Oh, Dayton, Ohio.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, man, I done seen like, and me doing the foster care. I mean, and the foster care agencies were so jacked up. They were a lot of times trying to bring me up on charges of abusing the children that I had. Like I told you the story of me telling the boys to go out and cut the grass with the scissors. That's child abuse. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what you call it. If you don't like it, take them. Get them the fuck out my house. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all ain't running shit, and this child ain't running shit. You know what I mean? And then it was a situation where I would have to deal with the Pookies and the Ray Rays and the LaQuishas, about these children. A lot of times, you have to actually talk to the parents of these children. And I would go to the agency, be like, the mama is a piece of shit, and so is the daddy. You know what I'm saying? If I was very rare did I see the daddy. But it was two situations where the child was about to be taken out of my house, given back to the mother, and I warned him, don't send this child back to the mother. She's not stable. Don't send the child back to the mother. And two of those occasions where I did that, like 2-3 years down the line, I hear that the child is dead from neglect, or from the child just getting beat to a pulp by the mother. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of stuff that I've internalized and I've dealt with all through my life. With the war, the prison, the foster, just endless barrage of just nonsense, bullshit, murder, violence. Bruh, and you brought it out of me today, O'Shea. You brought it out of me, bruh. So I'm just telling you, man, that it's a good feeling, and you do reap the rewards and the benefits of actually helping out, man. But I have retired. And what's up to my man, Tony Maceo? What's cracking, partner?
What's going on?
We got the Max City Limits podcast on here. Let's go to Tony real quick. And I have invited another young lady to join in because I kind of want to hear. I want to hear also at some point Erica's definition of what she feels alpha male is, because I want to see if there is a difference, and if it's too far of a difference. I know Super Sly don't get on somebody's ass, but let me. I'm not trying to set nobody up for failure because I know Super Sly is here, so we got to have some balance in the room. But he's a gatekeeper. But let's go to Tony Maceo, man. Tony, brother, Reverend Dr. Maceo. Good to have you here.
Why you calling me the Reverend Doctor, man? I ain't no Reverend Doctor. You got jokes.
Long-winded Baptist church, man.
You got jokes. But I think that Mac was right when he said that. The thing is, you do get something. It's not very much. You do get a reward, but it's a largely thankless job. When I mentored boys, what would happen is, the thing is, I would only have them for 4 or 5 hours. Now they fucked up ass mothers had them for the other 19. So for me, it seemed like an exercise in futility. Everything I tried to do to show them the right way, their stupid ass mamas would come in and undo it. So a lot of times it felt like I was, like hitting my head up against the wall. It's like, why am I doing this shit? Why am I doing this shit? But then I thought about it. I said, because I wanted to take away their excuses. Because you always hear these kids saying, you always hear these niggas say, well, nobody tried to show me a better way. Nobody tried to teach me anything, or nobody taught me anything. So in my case, I saw it as a case of taking their blood off of my hands. You don't have that excuse now. You can't say that everyone in your life ignored you. You can't say that everyone in your life didn't give a fuck about you, because that's not true. You can't say that no one didn't take you by the hand and try to show you a better way. So when you fuck up, don't blame the white man, don't blame society. You have to put the blame squarely where it belongs, on your ass. And that was my motivation, was just to pretty much, if I had something I felt I was responsible to show them a better way and to teach them a better way. And once I served that purpose, it was up to them to make the choice from there on in. So that's just how it goes.
And you actually teach boys, young black boys, how to play chess and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. I got a little boy. He's a little mixed race boy. I think he has some personality or behavioral disorders. His mother's black, but his father's white or whatever. And it's his mom was just basically just a booty call for the daddy. It was just basically sexual curiosity. He wanted to see what it was like to fuck a black woman. But he got, this little boy, and this little boy got personality problems, and he's never around. So now that I'm the chess coach, he's gravitated onto me. So the teachers will come to me and say, well, such and such happened. And I drag him in the corner and give him the 3rd degree. And you can see his little head shrink down. You can see him feeling some sense of remorse for his actions. And so what would happen is they would say, well, that little boy loves you. Now, it may sound like slightly simpish for saying this, but that made me feel good to know that I could have that. I wasn't thinking about the mama. Fuck the mama. It was the fact that I had a hand in helping this child travel on the straight and narrow.
Mhm.
It's a perfect experience, but it's better than him having nothing. So,
Right.
that's just the way it was. And I got like 2 or 3 kids like that. So the thing is that, again, I'm eliminating their excuses. You can't say you didn't have nobody to tell you anything different, because that is just not true. It's just not true.
No, that's very powerful. Let me shout out to somebody out in the hometown. Connections. Thank you, brother. 24.99 super chat. Bro, that boy got some money. Shout out from the 937. Respect to the cast. Thank you, brothers, man. If you guys want to support the stream, you can do also. If you have questions, if you want to like the video or super chat, you could also do that like everybody else. If you have, certain things you want us to read off. Let's go to Ghana Dan, and we have 2 women joining just slightly towards the end of the podcast because I want to hear what they got to say. But let's go to Ghana Dan and see if he wants to weigh in anything, and we're going to get some of these women's perspective on what they think alpha men are and see if they're different from what we think it is.
What's the question, or just you want me to weigh in?
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to weigh in on anything.
I mean, everything's been said. I mean, all this, we got a lot of experience on this call from various points of view. I mean, there ain't nothing I can add to what already been said. A big respect to Tony Maceo and Mac City for their commitment. I understand where Super Sly coming from, because I'm on the fence. Xanatos brought it, so, and I salute all of you, your varying levels of dedication. I'm done.
Okay. Damn. That was pretty cool. All right. Let's go to Clutch real quick, and then we're gonna go to Erica, see what she has to say about this whole what she feels after. But let's go ahead. Let's go to Clutch real quick.
All right. So for the guys who are still adamant in mentoring young men, playing basketball, playing chess, and doing all sorts of activities that we would consider bonding are great. But one of the best things you can do as far as mentoring that person is taking them out of that environment. And I don't mean just the house. I mean the hood entirely. Especially if you live in an upscale neighborhood yourself, show them that different world. Show them that there's another way and another path that you can do instead of going to jail, going to prison, being dead, or being the baby daddy by the time you're 25. For all the men out here who have not even luxurious lifestyles, but upper middle income lifestyles, let them in that world. See, playing basketball, doing chess, all that kind of stuff, that's great. But you are likely going into their world. You're probably stepping into the hood and mentoring them from that perspective. Yeah, they see a masculine man, a man who's doing good for himself. But in the end, you're in his environment. He's still in that neighborhood, and he still has that very narrow, myopic view of how life is supposed to be. Yeah, you're here, but you're only here for so long. If you want to be really effective, and as I said, create these positive sleeper cells that will bring forth a new idea and perspective to that hood, you take them out of that environment, even if it's only for a few hours, and show them the different world that they can live in. And in some cases, it may have to be material. Show them the neighborhoods that you live in. Just chill out for a bit. To do the stuff that you usually would do by yourself or with your homies, do them with that mentored kid of yours. Whether it's checking out the house, if you have a stylish car, drive that stylish car. If you live in a luxurious neighborhood, let him hang out there, or hell, even sleep over for the night. Now, I know some women will try to use that, so cover your ass while you're at it. But if you have a stunning chick who, I'm sorry to offend the ladies here, but if you have that stunning non-black chick or that African or Caribbean chick who's cooperative, you show him off or you show her off to that mentor kid. Show that person, that young boy or that teenage boy, that there's a different world out here. Give him that piece. one of the things that helped me to get out of my environment and realize that, oh, okay, there's something better is when I started working in places like Montgomery County, Maryland, and Fairfax County, Virginia. And the reason why I say that is because before, for the most part, I was stuck in the DC PG rut. I saw that there was little to nothing here. Yeah, I got straight A's because that's what I was told to do in order to get the hell out. But a part of me was like, what's the point? What's the use of this? But then that's when I went out to the aforementioned places and saw how other people lived, including black men who lived out there. A lot of the black men who had well-paying jobs lived in luxurious or at least upper middle income apartments, condos, and houses, and had bad chicks, bad fine chicks, most of whom were non-black. But there were some sisters in there too. Don't be offended. There were some sisters from other countries. Wink, wink. But yeah, overall, if you really want to be an effective person and show these boys and guide them in the right path, give them a piece of what they can have if they stay on the course and resist the sins and the vices of the hood.
All right, thanks so much. Hold on to Honorable Jay. What up, boy? I see Kevin got you on clerk. Blessings to the whole channel. I think this is somebody from my hometown. No, that's not. Okay. Well, shout out to you, fam. Thank you for the donation, $50. No, it's not from my hometown, but thank you again, bro. Oh, he do got a playlist as O'Shea Vids. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, guys, for the donation. Shout out to Southern Boy. Great show. Much respect for the ATL. 989 super chat. Monty, $5. Let me ask you, Erica. While we have you online.
Thank you guys for the super chats.
What'd you say?
Thank you guys for the super chats. That's very
I
nice.
know I might be rich like Erica. Shit, I might be able to go to Austin and I might be able to afford a Pepsi or something in this motherfucker.
Dr. Pepper out here. Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, something. Let me ask you this, because as a African American woman, when you hear the term alpha male, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? When you hear that, what do you think? What do you think about?
So what's funny is a lot of people are like, oh, women just want the hot bod, the muscles, all that. And honestly, just my whole life, my father, my uncles, everybody I've ever worked for, my first job was with my cousin who owned a dollar store at 14. They have been all calm, quiet, some of them very talkative, men who had something to say. So like when some people say alpha male, they don't sync, right? So my cousins, several of them played football for NC State and some did Canada football and one did Chicago Bears. These were tall men who talked about deep things, and they weren't all like loud and flashy. You know, they had nice cars, they dressed well. And so like what people are saying they see as alpha male is kind of scary to me, because I'm like, I wouldn't even speak to that guy. If I was somewhere and some guy was dressed the way some of these ladies are looking at, I wouldn't even speak to that guy. I might even cross the street. I'm not saying it out of I'm being some weird suburbanite kind of girl, but a lot of the guys that actually, when you sit down and they're talking about something, or I remember I'd said in a group, oh, what's the latest book you read? And this one black guy told me the book he read. And I was just like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I mean, he was tall, nerdy, engineer guy, but it didn't matter. The point is, at some point you hope, but not always, that you actually can see some quality. Because Glendon makes a joke about old handsomes, is what I call them. It's that dude that's in his 40s, 50s, 40s, mid 40s. He used to be a pimp. He used to get all these ladies. He used to be good looking, abs, all that good stuff. But he has nothing to show for it. He doesn't have his own house. He's got a nice car, maybe. But now the looks are starting to wear off. So now he's with what Glendon calls a troll, which is hilarious. But that's a true statement. It's like you want to see, is there some depth to this man? And if you're out here looking for abs in the nightclub, that's a short ride to some bad long-term life decisions, because that's just not going to work. That's not what alpha males are. You can actually talk with a guy, and even Mac City, some of the stuff he said in previous videos, I've laughed, but I can tell Mac City probably can walk up to a woman or a man and have great conversation. And that's what pulls people in, because that to me is a little bit better description of what an alpha male is. O'Shea, even when O'Shea has them glasses on, you know what I mean? O'Shea has some smarts to him. He has some depth to his conversation.
Yeah,
and,
thank you, baby. Thank you.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Okay, wait. Now I got him feeling himself. Let me stop. That's the difference. You know what I mean? And even here in Austin, black people are only 66%. But if these are some of the most well-paid black people you'll ever see. If you go by the Domain right now, there'll be at least 20, 30 black dudes you'll walk past that have a 6-figure job. They're working in engineering. You know, they're well-to-do. The key here is, you know, do you have anything worth saying to them? Why would they reach out to you if you're not a good-looking woman or you're not a woman in their category? You may not meet these people. So what Clutch was saying about taking them out of the hood is precise. You know, the number one thing at my private school, we would work with a Section 8 neighborhood, and we'd get these kids and take them with us to golf and tennis. And it would be so funny because they would come to golf and tennis and be like, man, I don't want to do this. But we had a black lawyers group and a black lawyers and police officers group kind of finance it. And you could see the change in the kids' eyes. They'd get in the car with some of our coaches who had BMWs or nice, you know, Volkswagen cars or whatever, and they'd get to the golf course and they just wouldn't know what to do. They'd just stand around and wait for someone to tell them what to do. And a lot of it is taking kids out of their normal everyday environment so they can see what true manhood is, or true good living is, or true environments. And you just can't have true environments in the hood that's a dysfunctional hood per se. You can't get true examples of what alpha male is if you think alpha male is homeboy who sells drugs on the corner and he's the most important guy in your neighborhood. That just isn't a true depiction of what alpha male is. So sorry, long and rambling. But
No. You didn't get to Edward on. Have you heard? You know who Edward Anderson is, right?
In Raleigh, right? I think he.
Yes, everybody knows him. Yes.
Yes.
He gets the long-winded on. Yes. Actually, I have a poll on my website. Who's the most long-winded person on these podcasts? And he is winning by like easily. He's easily beating anybody right now on the site right now.
Well, I'm a visitor and I'm just trying to show respect to your group. That's all.
Oh, shout out to Amazi. Thank you so much. Let me do this also, guys, before I forget. Shout out to the brother Monty for the $5 super chat. Southern boy, thank you for the 2-3 super chats. Great show. Much respect from ATL. Good to see you, brother, from ATL in the building. Let me ask Super Sly, because he is the gatekeeper. What do you think about her definition as a woman? Do you think she understands it, or is she off by somehow, or what?
No, she gets it, but I think she's in the minority, because if you ask the average sister, you know, you're gonna get a very account of what she deems as an alpha. No, but Erica is correct, but I just think she's in the minority with that, unfortunately, because if we're gonna go by the hypergamy stats, then clearly their version of alpha versus Erica's version are not nowhere near close at all.
Okay, so here's the $1 million question then. Let's go to Max City. How is it that she gets it and other African American women don't? Or not say don't, but let's say that she gets it, and let's say a good percentage of African American women don't get it like she does.
Well, we got to kind of look at the media, man, and how, you know, the social engineers are basically bombarding the woman's head with these sort of images. You know, some females tend to, and I would dare I say they're in the minority, that are not as easily programmable, you know, but the majority of these females out here are being just totally programmed by mass media. And to me, you know, women aren't really hard to figure out, man. You know, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you exude power and strength, they will follow. You know what I'm saying? You know, the whole concept of you look in a certain way or you act in a certain way, you know what I mean? Like I said, women, as long as you exude the power and the strength, you know what I mean? Because the mandate that especially black women are following today is the mandate of the social engineers, which is the white Anglo-Saxon male, which is the government. They are following their lead because they have the power and they have the strength. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All black men have to do to counteract that is you get some power and some strength. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? But like I said, in the case of your boy Obsidian, he's got it fucked up. because he's asking black women to follow the weaker of the two. And, you know, I'm sorry to hurt niggas' feelings, but you are the weaker of the two when it comes to white versus black. It's real simple. Get some business about yourself, get some power, get some strength. The women will come. They will follow. It's just that simple. If you're not going to do that, then, of course, they're going to follow the mandate of the social engineers, the white Anglo-Saxon male, and they go keeping dirt in your face because women don't respect weakness.
No.
I don't see how this is hard to figure out.
They damn sure don't do that.
Yeah. So
Can I say,
get some.
sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I would say I had my father in my life every day till he died. I had a stepfather for 20 years. I have 6 uncles, all married. I have 20 boy male cousins. And I think anytime there was any kind of like, hey, what do you think this guy, let me tell you what this guy's doing. What do you think? My cousins would be like, stop, shut it down, get on away from him. And the same with my uncles. I think a lot of people do not have positive male role models in their life. And I'll just be like, they just don't. I really think that's a big problem. And even when our families did group homes, that's why I asked Mac City what city or state he was in, because, you know, the group home business is a really lucrative business. But if you're not running it from a perspective of a black man running it, you may not have investment in those kids. Like there's a lot of white guys in South Carolina that run them. And the only thing they care about is taking those boys to football leagues and football games. They don't ever invest in them in other ways. And so I just think I've seen enough examples of really good men, really common sense men that I just know what's not real and what's fake, right? You know, right. It's one of those things. But continue, Mac City. I apologize.
Well, see, once again, you were blessed to actually have that. You know what I mean? You had real men in your life that you could actually see what men were about. And sadly enough, majority of these women out here, they don't have that. They have TV. You know what I mean? They got mass media basically dictating and telling them what is real, what is a real man, and what is masculinity. It's rare that you actually see a woman out here that actually has a real grasp on what a man is because they've actually had a man in the house. You know, the whole concept of the family is a foreign idea. So hats off to you. You are a unicorn.
No, don't say that. There's more people out there like, don't say that. That's worse. I was going to say, and I also grew up in a military town, so I think our uncles were more tight on like, hey, 10 o'clock, you in the house. There's no play, you know, like these men out here hunting. Don't be outside. It's just too much, right? So
right.
I think they just had a tighter grip on our family. But I will say in college, a lot of the stuff I hear O'Shea say on this channel, and I watch his older videos, crack me up because I know several, and I'll just say I pledged a white sorority. So let's get that out of the, you know, I pledged a white sorority, but even the black girls I knew in college, they'd have several guys who were nerdy and smart and going places, knocking down their door. And yet they are all trying to chase this place called Green Hall, which was where all the football players and athletes lived at ECU. And I was like, you're missing out, Cindy. Like, pick this nerdy dude and go sit down. And I think the difference is a lot of white girls and a lot of Asian girls will pick that nerdy dude or pick that dude with the head on his shoulders and go sit down and get married after they leave college. But I don't know if you guys have been seeing stats lately. Black young people getting married has gone up, but it's all college age. You know what I mean? It's all like that 21 to 24 because I think they've seen it play out wrong. I think they've seen mom being a single parent mom doesn't work. I think they know, hey, to make this work long term, I want to be in a family and I want to have a good job and live somewhere else. You know, that's just 2 cents. But go ahead.
Yeah, Asian women.
Go ahead.
Yeah, say Asian women and Caucasian women, they typically have you know, what I like to say, they have a perspective of the long game. You know what I mean? It's been my experience that sisters, you know, they more so thinking about the short game. Somebody got me on echo. Okay, anyway, yeah, they talking about the short game, man, more so immediate gratification. You know what I mean? So that's all I gotta say about that, man. Yeah, Caucasians and Asians, man, they you know, the long game. You know what I mean? The long game is what it's all about.
Let me shout out to so yeah, I've heard of that book actually through Obsidian's channel, to be honest. The what's the name of the book again? It's the Disintegration of Black America, right?
You see, everybody, tell me if you can see it. This is The Disintegration of Black America by Eugene Robinson.
Yeah, I've heard of that book before.
One of my friends actually knows his son. I mean, just they're what I would consider, his family is one of those old black generational families. Like, and I always tell people this: 1950s, my grandpa owned a juke joint, and they own commercial farms to this day. And I think it's a generational thing. When you start seeing your grandpa and then your grandma, and then, you know, like, you learn these traits generationally. So you're seeing a lot of young women that are saying crazy stuff to you guys, but I think they're getting that from their mom, they're getting that from their grandma. This is a generational thing, and if you don't get people out of that mindset, or you don't marry well, good Lord. But can you see the book? I'm just holding it up one more time.
Yeah.
Looks like this. So
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna buy that book too. So people actually, we've had 2 people buy it since we've been on the on the show.
Yeah, some people put in the mentions. Thank you guys. But yeah, this book, it totally reset my mind, because I went to a YouTube event and it was all these girls. And you've talked about this before. They got white mamas, black daddies. Black daddy is not around, just is what it is. And they didn't know how to do their hair. They didn't know anything about the culture. But when they started getting on YouTube, they learned how to do their hair. They learned how to do this, do that. And they started connecting with people. But it's like their own culture group. Like, I was in a group on a table of 12 girls. And out of the 12, 10 of them had white moms. And it was like, this group is what they call the emerging group. So that's why I keep holding the book up. I mean, if you read that book, I really think it'll change something for your mind, because Africans and mixed people are in their own little subculture of Black America. And it's just very unique. I think you should check that book out, if nothing else.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Kamala 80. Get that book, bro. I'm definitely gonna get it. So let me this is good. Let me go to Ghana Dan and then Tony Mason in the clutch. Ghana Dan, anything you want to weigh in on this?
The reason why, I mean, she hit the nail on the head, and Mac City followed up. My experience dating women, those who have fathers, they were very pleasant experiences versus those who didn't.
All the time.
You know, a child that's missing a mother or the father going to be grossly out of balance. They're going to be, it's like driving a car with 3 wheels. So it's going to be a mess. And they typically going to be queen of the ashes type women, because they don't know structure. All they know is chaos. So, I mean, I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for my dad, because the little town we grew up in, you know, my dad was one of the few that was, you know, let me see, I graduated in 91. My parents, and I've told you this before, my parents wouldn't even let me go out on a date with a girl if she didn't have a father. I had to meet and shake the hand of the father. If not, I had to tell my parents. And then they would tell me how to gracefully get out of that situation, because they know that girls without fathers, they were going to be sucking my dick and doing all kind of tricks in the backseat of a car, you know, at 16 and knock me up, you know, or they get knocked up. Because, you know, where I was coming from, girls was not, you know, trying to get pregnant. You know, if you was a good dude, come from some money, girls were trying to get knocked up by you. So my parents was trying to protect me from that, because they know most fathers ain't gonna have their daughters, you know, getting ran through in the backseat of a car, because, you know, we didn't have no hotel money any damn way. So, and all throughout my life, you know, is my most pleasant experiences. You know, my present situations right now, both of my wives have great fathers, and so, you know, I don't.
Y'all
I
heard
don't
what he
even budge
said.
on
Both
that.
of his wives currently.
Oh, yeah, everybody know that by now. So family structure is everything. There's no getting around it. You know, so it's about we got to reinstitute it. I mean, back to what Super Sly says. I mean, shit, I want to burn it down sometimes too, but I want to have hope for humanity. Because, you know, but what's so sad, the same shit in game they ran over us, running over here, they exporting that to Central America. All the indigenous cultures have been bombarded with Western fuckery.
Mm-hmm.
They are actively trying to break the men, then come in there with that slick feminism shit all throughout Africa. I mean, because I'm hearing the same game. I got friends in Zimbabwe, Kenya, South Africa, and Tanzania. They run in the same game. They want to run the same narrative they ran on black people in Africa. So that's why, you know, I take a personal interest over there, because I don't want to see the world go down in flames with these white boys running shit, because we know they here to rape, take, and exploit and keep it all to themselves. And now it's a bidding war between China and these white boys. I mean, I'm in Africa meeting Mexicans now.
I just saw a thing on China. I just saw a thing on all these
Yeah.
Chinese men with half black babies, and they can either stay there and get fired or go home.
So, I just hope people look to add Africa to their portfolio. It's a great experience and shit. I mean, I'm brokering land deals, 20 acres for $10,000. I mean, so brothers, it's Africa and the third world is for the taking, because other patriarchal societies, other alpha males are clanning up. They putting their money together. I'm meeting rednecks from Georgia, Mississippi. They getting their money together, going to get gold. While we here on this podcast, and that's a great thing. Right. They uniting. They putting their money together, and they building generational wealth. So
can I second what he just said?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that the reason I keep talking about this book is I see the separation of middle class and well-to-do Black people just absolutely separating away from poor Black people. Like, as much as possible, getting together, buying real estate, buying land. Even the group I'm in, Todd Capital and Black Seed Fund. Black Seed Fund, the guy is like first generation Nigerian. And where did he go? He went straight to Black people who were grad school and upper or had some money and ready to move. And they're just separating. They're separating themselves. They're investing in multiple properties. Right now we're investing in Detroit. And it's just interesting. It's like, you ask some of the people in Detroit, same way America is, but you ask some of the people in Detroit, why you ain't buying these houses? But they run around in brand new cars and multiple cars and crap at their house. But it's like the long-term game isn't there. And so I just see a mass separation of like well-to-do Black people, well-to-do Black men, well-to-do Black women. They're not even dealing with these people. So I am glad Mac City is dealing with that. I'm glad Super Slide is actually volunteering with those children, because if not, they won't see it. They just won't see it. I have a neighbor who is, he's like half Black, but he looks so pale you wouldn't even know he's Black. He's married to she's hot. I ain't gonna lie. She's a very beautiful, really light skin. I don't even know she was Black till she told me, Creole woman from Louisiana, and their kids look white, and they don't live anywhere near Black people. They don't have any Black friends, and those people are just kind of gone on in America. They're moving on to their they're doing their own thing. They're living their own lives. And it's a lot of separation happening. So I just wanted to second what
we're seeing it amongst Black men in our cohorts too. This is very similar. I think in this group, we have Dr. Kenya Meadows coming on, Wednesday, and we have Al Greaves, the filmmaker, coming on. Even in the manosphere, you're starting to see that the guys that have like the education and the money, they tend to stick around around my channel, I would say, at least. The guys who have like a lot of money, stuff like that, the guys are well to do, they're always over here. I'm not saying that in other places, but you even see it, like attracts like. Let me just do this real quick. Sub-Zero has joined us. Let me get Sub-Zero into the conversation, man. Good to be good for you to be here. And another brother, young brother, I'll stay up a little bit to let him tell his story before I go to Sub-Zero, but let me shout him out. Zadrell McKnight, I am that young Black nerd. I wish I could join in and give us perspective. However, all of you are spot on. Most women who turn me down are Black, not white or Asian. It's almost like being rejected for being smart. Something that I heard Roastmaster once say. I'll let him come on real quick because, like I said, it's almost 4 a.m. here, a little bit over. So if you want to come on and say what you have to say, I'll let you do that, brother. Thank you for your super chat of $19.99. Let's go ahead, Sub-Zero. You there?
What up, man? What's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, man.
Yeah, man. I just joined late. I saw your subject about who's the real alpha in the Black community. And, I've been kind of busy lately doing some things. Do I sound all right? Do I have an echo?
You sound all right.
I was just listening, man. You guys making some good points. The father patriarchal energy is real positive. I see that even with LeBron James, like the excuse making. I know you guys probably, that's off the subject, but I could see in him, this guy's a once in a generation talent, but he has shortcomings that I feel like come from, he has a lot of feminine energy, like coming to the press conference with a cast on after you supposedly broke your hand in game 1. So That just, I want excuses. When they ask you, hey, what's up with your the average guy from the older generation would be, oh, they beat us. I'm not gonna make any excuses. That never came out his mouth. And I feel like that comes from the lack of, the masculine energy. You saw it with Kobe, with his dad, how he was in his life. Even with Kyrie, the way Kyrie carries himself, it's just a difference. And I think LeBron looks for excuses, and he has the media. He's trying to being manipulative, kind of like a woman, like trying to manipulate and control the situation, and say, okay, I'm gonna come with this cast after we lose to show them that, yeah, I lost, but that but type stuff, because he still wants to be considered the GOAT. And that's the thing that I see in a lot of guys that support him have that same energy. I ain't trying to say, because I know I'm probably pissing some people off. He has fans everywhere, and as soon as you say something about LeBron, they start talking about what he does in the community and stuff. Well, he's a good guy. I'm like, I'm not hating on him as an evil person. I'm just saying in general, you see that energy in him. You just, in the way that he operates, the way he, the things he does for the camera, the way he was screaming on the bench, and that whole mental toughness. A lot of he lacks the mental toughness or intestinal fortitude to will himself to win a lot of times, because he has a lot of feminine energy. I think that's what he lacks, and you see it in it. And I think that even though I respect him, he seems to be a good father. He seems to be a good husband. I know he probably out there in them streets a little bit, but what I'm saying is he tries to be, I've heard a few stories, but what I'm saying is, all in all, you see it with guys like that, and you could tell just from listening to the older generation and the newer generation. The millennials will say, oh, you're a hater. Somebody probably called me a hater already, but that's what I'm saying. It's just a difference. And you see a lot of excuse making with the young. No, I'm not saying we're better. Our older Generation X is better. I wouldn't say that, but I'm just saying in general, the ball has been dropped, and you're seeing it with I can't beat you, so let me go play with a top 5 talent. Let me go play with Anthony Davis. Let me go play with DeMarcus Cousins. Let me go play with the best top 5 guy, so that I can then shake my fist at Kobe and Jordan and guys that didn't have all that. And so you see that, and you see the excuse making, and even in our media, ESPN, a lot of the media is feminine. So they're coming with a whole mindset of, look, they're making excuses. Like tomorrow, I know they're gonna make excuses tomorrow as to why he lost, why it wasn't his fault, didn't have any help, hadn't had help for 16 years in the league, hadn't played with 13, 14 different all-stars, but he hasn't had any help. So that's the narrative. And I think that comes from this whole feminine energy that we see prevalent in our society and even in our community. I know guys that'll get done. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you're spot on, and the word you're looking for is constructive criticism. That people cannot take. If I'm just saying, I'm meeting men under 30 that can't take any constructive criticism. My friends in the Army, he's writing up guys left and right on Article 15s. You can't say anything to them. They get emotional. My uncles, when they do the group home stuff, they'll come and say, listen, we're going to cut your hair. We're going to get you some new clothes. I mean, they have kids actually crying, 15 and 16-year-old kids crying over a haircut and getting new clothes and belts and pants that fit. And they're like, where's all this over the top emotion coming from? And now I'm going to say, I'm agree with you. That's just true. There's something about younger people that can't take any constructive criticism or anybody kind of correcting them. It's like straight emotional, just no excuses excuses all day. But that was all.
Yeah, I feel you 1,000%. I think that's the whole situation I've noticed just in sports in general. I've noticed that it's very, it's just gotten very soft, very feminine. It's on another level of just outright fuckery with the younger generation. And I think you see that because you got 77% of our kids are being born now. So what you're seeing now is the kids that were born out of wedlock when it was 50% in the 90s. And now they're older, and you see the results of that. So imagine, in 20 years, what we're going to be dealing with when you got people that, that mom listens to Takashi, you know, that type of stuff, you know, that type of energy.
I was gonna
Like,
say,
it's
add
just,
to that.
I'm just saying, like, you know, you got a guy who looks black people in the face and calls them a nigger and they like it. Like, I just, you know, I don't get it. So I think that's the thing. And it's like, when you say something, that's why I did a video called A Hater Witch Hunt. Like, it's anybody that says anything, it's like, oh, you're a hater. It's like, no, I'm not a hater. I just think that this guy, if you watch the game, over the course of the game, he did this, he did that. He was afraid to check Kevin Durant, you know, and he's like ranked like 300 and something in the league in defense. He's walking up on defense. I know if I'd have walked up on defense, I know people when I played ball that would have been in my ass about that. Like, why are you walking up on defense? Why are you resting on defense? You rest on offense. But, you know, that's just, and I know I didn't want to take it into sports, but I'm just saying in general, when you look at a guy like LeBron James, you see a caricature, if you will, or an archetype of just outright feminine energy, blessed with physical talent and performance enhancing drugs. But nonetheless, he's on steroids. But at the same time, he's still you know, I rank him as a top 10 player. I never disrespect him. And even when I say that, I say, hey, he's top 10, but don't tell me that you're afraid to check Kevin Durant. You trying to check Steph Curry 6 inches shorter than you and almost 100 pounds smaller than you. No, you can't tell me that you trying to put yourself on the same level as Kobe, Michael Jordan. He's more of a Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, and I respect Wilt. I think I would rank Wilt as a top 5, but he's not to me. But that's the thing. But these kids have grown up seeing him. They're trying to emulate him. So it's, you know, the energy now is going to be, hey, I can't beat this team, so I'm going to go join forces with 5 and 6 other guys, and we're going to try to form this super team. The fact that they mentioned that LeBron would even talk to Golden State speaks volumes to where this generation is. There's no way in hell you should even that shouldn't have came out. That type of information should not even come out, that you would even consider going to try to talk to in free agent talks to the Golden State Warriors, unless you lack that masculine competitive will, you know, and it's just a will. And, you know, you have a weak will. I think that's basically, and to sum it up, when you don't have a father, he gives you that will. He gives you that, you know, that will to win. And his will is very weak when you see in the games. And, you know, I've seen times where he's trying to get rid of the ball when he had Kyrie, like it's a hot potato, like he's afraid in certain moments, because I felt like you could see it now. But at the same time, over the course of the game, he'll get 30 points in fast breaks and layups and stuff. But when it comes time to really get things, when it really matters, you see him being like the first person he picked in the All-Star game was Kevin Durant, the guy who they say is your rival. You pick him. Like, who does that? That's what I'm saying. But it's so bad now that when he did that, I got upset. And I'm in this group where I'm talking to people, and I made a comment, and I said, man, that just shows a lack of competitive will and desire. And it was, I mean, people came in, he's the GOAT. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Like, you don't see that as a weakness that you want to, that's like Michael Jordan picking, I don't know, Dominique Wilkins or whoever, Charles Barkley or, no. And he wanted to change the format of the All-Star game so he wouldn't lose all the time, because the West would always beat the East. He didn't want to lose, so I gotta say, man, it's just a whole bunch of feminine energy. And I think what's happened is infiltrated the whole society. And I think that a lot of us I think we're gonna see that. We are seeing the excuse making has become prevalent. Like, just like you were talking about the brothers going into the community and doing things. You got a lot of brothers feel like, I don't have to do nothing. Jason Black said it yesterday. He said, or the other day, he was like, if a man treats productivity or producing as a bad word, he'll die with no respect. If a woman treats submission like a bad word, she'll die alone. So I think that's where we're getting to, and it's starting to show. That's why the numbers are where they are.
Okay, let me just do this, guys. I know it's a lot. I know we established I feel pun, but it's damn near 5 o'clock in the morning. I gotta get up in 3 hours. So last statement. I'll do it again. I'll tell you, I'll do it again tomorrow. I wasn't even gonna come back and do this one, but I had this one pending, but I'll get back to doing the nightly shows like this. We're gonna do it again tomorrow on something. Shout out to AM1. Let me just shout out to a few brothers that just donated during the super chat. Brown, thank you $2 super chat. Connections again, $24.99. We Black Americans are not Aboriginal. Thank you, my brother. I'm a Z Eric Robinson. He says, guess they did work. I'll say, great vid. I could totally relate. Coming from nothing and working hard and resulting in a comfortable life. So let's do this. Let's everybody make the last point or whatever they want to do. Start with Tony Maceo, and we'll kind of go from there. Is Tony Maceo still there? He left. Oh, we have the Make America Great Again, dude. Is this Zadrell?
How you doing?
What's going on, fam? This is a young guy. Okay, I'll give you a chance, man, to go ahead and say what you wanted to say as a young guy, man. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Honestly, as a young Black American, I think it's to the point where if you look at Western society, it's degenerating. No matter how much we try to say we are advancing, no matter how much we try to say we're coming together, if you really look at it, we're separating each other. In the Black community, the young Black male, the alpha male thing is more of a issue between class and common sense. And when you look at it, all the people you're supposed to look at was your Alan West, your Tim Scotts. All these people are looked down upon. There's we have a bigger piece of the puzzle is that the pen is mightier than the sword. So when I look at women who are after the alpha males, the quote unquote jocks, the football players, the basketball players, I don't think they're really after them because of their looks. They're after them because they're literally a pot of gold. You know, their talents was bringing the money before they can get the influence in society. But sometimes money does not influence society, but rather your actions. So as a person who actually reads and or writes at times, I look at the idea or the concept that we need to apply. Sometimes the concept may not be perceived as correct, but we can always change that as we're going forward. As a community, I think that's where our downfall plays, is because we do not look at the concepts that are being provided. We look at the lakes.
Mm-hmm.
The mid to late 60s downwards. We used to have the Black Wall Streets. We used to have so many banks, so many schools. But if you look,
you there? Okay, it looks like he's breaking up. All right, I know he switched his secondary phone too because his hangouts. But I'll give you a one-on-one hangout this week. So for an hour if you want to do that. Because seems like I can't hear anymore. Let's go through. Let's go to Clutch, guys. It's 4:33 in the morning. So try to make it quick, nigga. Go ahead.
Just want to thank everyone on the panel, for starters, and for all of us who are, in our own way, putting positive sleeper cells into the youth of the community. But my last words are basically, all of you are brilliant. All you're excellent. Even the Black American women, all of you have been great. And I hope that this becomes the standard of what Black America is. One of the reasons why I decided to rock with O'Shea is because I feel as if the platform that he's giving here will give us a chance, one, to change our reputation, and two, change the mental way of how we do business within the Black race. I just want to thank you all out there. For all of you who want to check out my channel, go on the YouTube, check out the content that's there. If you want to hear someone who's whiter than Donovan Sharp or who sounds whiter than Donovan Sharp, then feel free to subscribe. Everyone else out there, always bet on X.
All right. And Gerald, I know you fell through. Don't worry. We'll do a show this week, just me and you. I think it'd be a good experience. Thank you for super chat. So just email me. We'll set up a time. We'll do a one-on-one and as long as you want. Let's go to Super Sly still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What's up, man? Get quiet tonight, man. I was looking for more for that. But we can do a more controversial one and let you do your thing.
No, it was good. Good shout out to everybody on the chat. You guys, restore my faith. I call, I consider you guys the new talented tenth, and everybody keep doing God's work, and that's pretty much it on my end.
Super's like, man, I don't give a fuck what y'all do. Y'all niggas cannot help them. He's like, yeah, man, I know you crack
What's your
like that,
policy?
dog, but listen, man, let me tell you something, man. Fuck these kids. I was like, damn, nigga ain't got no. He's like, look, dog, I know you got emotional and shit, but link again. Hold on, okay. So Tony, I'm gonna send Tony the link so he can say his piece before I get up out of here. Who's next? Max City?
What's up?
Yeah, man. Let everybody know where they can find you at player.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I ain't coming on your show no more because I fucked around and caught the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
over here, man. I ain't
it's because Eric was in
fucking
the chat room.
around.
That's what it was.
That's what it is. Okay, man. Shit. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man. If y'all want to go ahead and check out some socioeconomic, political, philosophical viewpoints, man, that's a little bit off the beaten path, man. You can go to Max City Limits Radio Show, on YouTube. Max City Limits Radio Show. And I like to implore all the fellas out there, man. Look, if you see a child out there in need, you know what I mean, and you weigh the scales and you feel that you can actually make a difference, ain't no harm, man, in actually going for what you know. Mm-hmm. It does pay off. I don't disparage any man for having hands off, because you got to make a command decision. You know what I mean? You got to make a call on situations. But I'm just saying, man, if you do have the ability and you can help, you know what I mean, you won't regret it, man. You won't regret it. But of course, you got to pick and choose your battles, man. But once again, like I said, Max City Limits Radio Show on YouTube. If y'all want to go ahead, go over there, and get, hear something a little controversial, a little bit something off the beaten path. And I'd like to thank the panel. And I'd like to thank O'Shea for giving me this time to represent and, express my opinion.
All right. Thanks again. Let's go to Tony. He didn't get a chance to say too much tonight, but Tony, Tony will be on here. We got a show, and thanks, Tony, man. Tony actually helped me solve a big issue the other day. I want to publicly thank him. I did it a little earlier. So having smart people around you, man, really help your life, because you helped me out of some shit, nigga. Thank you. So Tony, man, let everybody know, whatever statement you want to make at the end, man, and stuff like that.
Well, first of all, I wanted to give a shout out to my brother on the panel, my better half. He's the angel of our better natures. I'm the other motherfucker.
He's the evil one. He's evil, son.
So with that being said, I wanted to give a shout out to him because, again, if it wasn't for Max City, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for O'Shea Duke Jackson, I wouldn't be here. I'm always respectful of people that open the door for me. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's the way you're supposed to be. But in terms of this alpha male thing, I think that we actually did a podcast on this topic on Max City about 2 years ago. And my views haven't changed, because the definition to me is largely bullshit. Because what we're calling alpha males is a designation put on men by women. And if we really knew where that designation came from, we would see that, it's really bullshit. Because what does alpha male really mean when the nerds are running science and technology, and by extension and by proxy, they're running the world? So that alpha male shit, when, if you can't feed, clothe, sustain yourself and protect you and yours, I don't give a fuck about that designation. It means less than nothing to me. And then finally, as well,
I hate I missed this podcast. I really hate I missed this. Go ahead, brother. My bad.
We've heard a lot of people give a designation as to somebody saving the black community. I've said this before. I'm gonna say it 1,000 times. There are only a few people that can spark change. They can cause the catalyst. They can be the catalyst for change. But the people that are really going to have to change their reality is going to be the black community. We have to get out of this Jesus thing where we expecting that talented tense shit didn't work. We've been there, done that, tried it, didn't work. So if people in the community, if our people in the community want to change their environment, it's going to come from the community en masse. It's not going to come from a few niggas that want to go back and transform the situation. They can be a catalyst, but all agents of change, that is a collective experience. You take Martin Luther King Jr. In Birmingham speaking out against segregation, they would have lynched him in 24 hours. But when you surround him with thousands of people that are willing to give their lives to make his vision a reality, the situation changed. You put George Washington in Valley Forge by himself, they would have lynched that nigga off the grip. But if you have thousands of people that are armed to the teeth, that are willing to fight and die to make that reality possible, the situation changes. So with that being said, the alpha males will not save the black community. The talented 10th will not save the black community. The smartest and most industrious will not save the black community. They may be agents of change, but the final decision as to what's going to happen, the final deciders of the destiny of black America is black America. So I do not believe in people martyring themselves. That time is over. That period where people getting killed for the betterment of people suffering for the betterment of the community, it's over. If you don't step up, you're out of here. In all wars, there are casualties. And this war, there is no exception. Am I talking about the war with white supremacy? No. I'm talking about the war upon this earth. Anything you do involves competition. Competition is nothing but conflict and combat. So if you're not ready to compete, if you're not ready to confront, you're out of here. And again, that's not going to be done by a select group of people. The destiny of Black America is going to have to be decided by the collective of Black America. And I'm going to shut my long-winded ass up because I'm still out here on 75. I'm about to take it in for the night. And once again, shout out to Fat Mac. Don't just go to podcast, check out some of that porn that nigga did.
Oh, hell no.
That nigga did some sinister shit.
That nigga nasty, dog. That's a nasty nigga. You ain't gonna make it into heaven, nigga. You ain't gonna make it in. You're not gonna be able to get into the. You ain't gonna get. You ain't gonna get in.
That he got off, the shit that he got away with, it should be downright criminal.
But Peter got to get in the book of life, so you ain't getting in. You ain't gonna get in.
Intrigued.
No.
The trip is you're intrigued by the evilness of it. That's what it is. You're intrigued that a motherfucker could be so sinister and get this shit off. But nevertheless, that's still my brother. And again, I want to thank everybody. I want to, send a shout out to all the panelists tonight. It was great to be here. And once again, if you're looking for me, my channel is powerandstrategy.com on YouTube. The website, I'm having some issues now, but I think the articles are still up. I need to write some for I've been writing more shit for the Negro Manosphere than I've been writing for my own shit. That nigga O'Shea B. Jackson conned me. He power tricked me with that checkbook and said, I'm gonna pay you to write for me, nigga. Now I'm writing more for him than I'm writing for myself.
Yes, that's what niggas do.
In any event, thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for what you've been doing for NegroManosphere.com, man. You're definitely an excellent writer. Roastmaster 1. Everybody knows, man, Tony is like very eloquent, man. So if I try to get my little right on every now and then, but I'm not as good as these guys are. I'm coming for their title. Don't worry about nothing. I'm gonna plagiarize all you niggas shit. Okay, let me go to Ghana Dan, and then we go to Sub-Zero, and then we'll go to Erica. Go ahead, Ghana Dan. Let them know where they can find you at, player.
Hey, it's humbling to be amongst some brilliant minds, some dedicated people. I mean, hey, this is a beautiful thing. This sector of YouTube where some brilliant, dedicated people talking about some high-level shit instead of some fuckery, So, yeah, I haven't got my channel up and running yet, but, I'm always lurking around modding and shit, doing my thing overseas. So I wish you all the best in your families. Create a great week. Everybody take a long look in the mirror, see what you can do. The best way you can change the world is by starting with yourself, and y'all have a good night.
All right. And let's go ahead and Sub-Zero, man. Let everybody know where they can find you at Player. Is he there? Sub-Zero, he's on mute.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Where everybody?
Yeah.
Where everybody?
Sub-Zero 3639. That's the channel. I don't have no blog or nothing like that, man. It's just me, man. Old country boy from Alabama, living in Atlanta. Let me say, I agree with the brother that just spoke wholeheartedly. That's why I say I hate that I missed this podcast, because when I hear people talk about alphas, they do relate it to women, and getting women is easy, but I'm sorry. I think you can't tell me that George Soros is not a alpha. Can he win? Can he win in a fight? If he got in prison, would he be the alpha? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? He probably wouldn't be the alpha in prison. Right. But the thing is, this dude influences so many people. He has power, wealth, and influence. If you don't, and to me, an alpha is one who has that. So, I mean, when you talk about that, the guy that if you piss him off, he come buy your whole damn projects and kick your ass out on the streets. Or, Master P, for example, got into it with Pastor Troy years ago because he, wouldn't, Pastor Troy dropped that song DSGB. What was it? Some song he made, and he was dissing Pastor Troy. I mean, dissing Master P. Master P got mad, went bought the label. That's powerful. That's an alpha. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z got pissed at Funk Master Flex and threatened to buy the radio station. That's powerful. That's, to me, black people, black men especially, get your hands on power, wealth, and influence and start focusing on trying to affect change by being in the position of power and in control. Like with the NFL, you're not the alpha just because you play ball and you kneel. The alpha is the dude that signed the front of the check. And you at his whim. He can cut you. He can do whatever he want to do. You don't want that. You want to be the one signing the front of the check, not the back. That's who wins, man.
All right, thank you so much. And this nigga said, Big Mac, can I join? I don't know you, nigga. Who the fuck are you? Y'all niggas be killing me in the chat. Can I join? Nigga, join where? You better go join a church, motherfucker. I don't know who the fuck you are. You niggas be killing me. Can I get on the panel? I don't, nigga, who are you, nigga? Get your ass up out of here. Sit your monkey ass down, nigga. I don't know who the fuck you are. Nigga, I ain't never seen you in my goddamn life talking about, can I get on? Can I join? You better join Jesus. Go ahead, Erica. Erica, go ahead. Anything you want to say to
these? Y'all are hilarious tonight. Y'all are hilarious. So, some great points y'all put out tonight about alphas, and it's very interesting just to hear different perspectives for sure. But at the end of the day, I really would love for some of y'all to change your scenery, because y'all keep sounding like y'all live right next to the bus stop where the crackheads live. Y'all got to move around and see some new things. 1, 2, it is economic. You know what I mean? The guy who makes good money can live in the neighborhood he so chooses. He doesn't have to deal with certain types of people. He really don't. And if he controls his work environment, he doesn't. So, my channel is Classy Climb Blog, whatever. You guys can find me on YouTube. But most of what I talk about on my channel is, once you make 10 grand a month, you are like in the top 10% of society. It's just that there's so many people kind of making 30,000 a year that once you get out of that frame and get a little bit higher up on the economic scale, you can make choices and decisions about where you live, what you eat, what women you do or do not want to deal with. A lot of it is economics. And someone mentioned in your comments about travel, and there's so many young men traveling. I think that's a great thing, because then it lets you open your eyes to see how women look in other countries, how they act, how they dressed. You get a bigger scope of what the world is like. And that's why you see so many blogs with Black women traveling and Black men traveling, because people want to see that. There's really no excuse. You have the internet, you can find the O'Sheas, you can find these guys talking about these things. And I just enjoyed your channel. But your caller that was talking about LeBron earlier was cracking me up, because, what people don't realize is like 40% of white women are having children out of wedlock. So not only do you have a lot of these Black males acting like this, you have white men at work, they're going to act very feminine. And I've run into that at work when I used to work for people. And it's a bigger problem than people think. So I love what your show's doing. I love the conversation. Hopefully we'll get to do that one-on-one sometime next week.
Let's do it. Shit, let's do it. We can do it tomorrow.
You gonna wear your glasses? Only if you wear your
know, for you.
If you wear the glasses,
my mojo was already working. Yeah, we do tomorrow. We'll do tomorrow. Go ahead and knock it out. Let's see who I got. Who do I got?
I'll make a note of it.
What's the subject tomorrow?
I think you have a lot of great guys on your panel. You got people super chatting. You got people conversating. I mean, there's a lot of smart minds in there, you know. So I enjoyed your cast. I'm surprised that ABL and the mate came on tonight.
Yeah, ABL was in here timing niggas out earlier, but yeah, ABL. When we get a political show, you're gonna see ABL. He gonna be up in here. Link, please.
I like messing with him on his channel. I'd be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. You have some political differences with ABL, huh?
Well, you know, I come from a cop family, so I think a lot of times people would think I'd agree with everything ABL says, but not always. So
yeah. I'm gonna have some other kind of black conservative guys on here this week too. They're even probably as worse as him, if not. I mean, I'm a black conservative myself.
I mean, I think that's hilarious.
I'm definitely I'm on the right, but not so much as ABL is to the point. ABL is like woo. To the right.
Well, ABL is up there by that Virginia line where, oh my goodness, those black people there scare me. They be on something else. So you know what I mean? He's experienced the real raw. So he knows.
Hey, well, just someone who's from the Northern Virginia, trust me, there are two Virginia, so I got to speak up for 703.
Yes. I'm from North Carolina. You know, we go to Virginia, we're like, whew, all rough up here.
Yep. But I'm more libertarian, so it's like I don't know. I'm more to the right myself, but yeah, ABL sometimes can make me look like a liberal.
Yeah, boy. All right, listen, guys. I think everybody. Man, I gotta go to bed. This class starts at 9 in the morning. I'm gonna watch this porn real quick, and I'm tired of niggas. Tired of all of you niggas. But y'all smart though. Y'all can read and write. I really love y'all. Y'all really brilliant. You know. But I'm just so tired of you niggas in the chat. I'm tired of all of y'all. So guys, I'm trying to catch up on all my past shows and collaborations. So Erica tomorrow for sure. I got Dr. Kenyon Meadows, the oncologist, on Wednesday. But we're not going to be talking about medicine or medical school or anything. We'll be talking more about like the finance situation. So I'm trying to bring some more smart people on. He actually wrote an article for me. So he's going to be commenting on Negro Manosphere. So, you know, hey, I mean, I might be a dumbass nigga, but a lot of people that fuck with me ain't that dumb. So, so guys, thank you so much for everything that you guys do. Everybody is, you know, Super Sly. He dropped off Sub-Zero. Tony Maceo, definitely. I owe Tony Maceo. He really helped me out last week. And Clutch. You know, I try to keep these shows that people can meet each other and all of this. Thank you guys for all that you do. The moderators, Roastmaster 1. Very successful brother. He sent me a picture of him in his suit in like 93. You was looking good, bro. Don't let nobody tell you wasn't looking good. On that day, nigga, you was all right. Okay, I know you was all right. You was that nigga on that day. But it's fun talking to you guys. You know, it's just good to see that black people, you know, all of us are African Americans for the most part, you know what I mean? And it's good to see us as a group of people. Yesterday, I had a United Kingdom Manosphere hangout. That was very interesting. Before I get up out of here, the people in Britain, when they look at African Americans, they don't have a unified group of blacks as black African Americans. When they look at us, we actually have a lot of infrastructure things that we've done because we have a national identity. You know, as a group of African Americans, we actually more developed than most people are as far as blacks, even though it may not be what folks think. Shout out to J.L. Edwards. But so you know, it was good to hear from the British blacks what they feel about African Americans and some of the things that they're struggling that they don't have that we do have. So you know, it was very good to hear that. Sometimes we think that we don't have shit, that we're not doing anything, but you know, we do have you know, some things going in our favor, and it was good to hear that validated from our English brothers over there. So guys, so Erica, we see you tomorrow. Just show me the time. I got and we'll do another one of these tomorrow. Thanks everybody. Shout out to Ted Randolph out in Canadian, J.L. Edwards. Y'all are honorary Negro Americans.
Get it done. We get right.
Get it done. So guys, see you guys. Thank you for everything you guys do. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
All right, peace.